can just say he'll be here in a second.
Okay.
We'll say he died.
I'm gonna tell him he's pooping. I'm gonna
I think we're live.
Are we live?
I don't know. Hold on.
I need more of a warning than that.
Shouldn't we be seeing it on the screen over there?
That screen's not even on.
I know it.
I don't know. Hold on.
If you can see us, Mike is pooping and Max is figuring out technology.
And we're basically a bunch of chickens with our heads cut off without Tyler, who, as we need to remind everyone, thinks all Star Wars is meh.
I think we're live.
Okay. If we're not, this is going to be super embarrassing in 2 hours.
Wave your hand.
Which one?
Just wave something.
Hands are waving. Are we live?
I don't know. Hold on.
Check your fucking laptop. Can we cuss?
I'm watching it. I'm just making sure that the lag is. Hold on.
Wow.
You know what?
Okay, yeah, you're waving. Okay, we're live. We're all live.
The season finale, and we're off to a great start.
We're here.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Going In Deep, the official podcast of the Uranus Awards.
Yeah.
My name's Zach. Joined with me are my co-hosts, Xander and Max, and Mike is pooping, as we said before.
Oh, he's going to kill you for that.
He will get over it, I'm sure, but he's here, which is great.
Guys, this is the episode I've been looking forward to, like...
Because it's the season finale, or because it's Stur Burs?
Because we are doing Star Wars.
Yay, Star Wars.
I know Mike has so many... He's going to be so mad. I'm sorry that I am eating. I haven't eaten all day.
Do we want to kill some time, get some inspirational words until he comes back?
So when a man and a woman love each other very much...
Those are life lessons, not wisdom.
That's true. I shouldn't say the rest.
Wisdom is important things like failure can be the best teacher of all.
Oh, speaking of failure.
Hey! We are live. Don't even duck. You just ran right past the camera.
Nobody saw me.
Yeah, you're right. No one saw that.
Yay, Mike's
all
here.
right.
So...
Welcome back to the train wreck.
Yeah, literally, though.
So...
Star Wars, guys.
Alright.
Yeah, so before we get started, just really quickly, I wanted to say that this is actually going to be my last podcast as a full-time member of the Uranus Awards. I'll be downsizing my role just slightly. I'll be writing and directing the videos. I'll be writing written reviews for the Probe, and I'll be acting as a consultant and a manager, so behind the scenes with the team. And
manager isn't really downsizing. That's kind of like...
I mean, I'll be slightly less active because I'm also going to be doing double duty. I'm jumping to a podcast at the end of January called The Grand Illusion with Joshua Patriarcho, which is going to be about the entire spectrum of film history and things like that. And yeah, so I'll still be sharing all the podcasts every week. I'll be watching these guys glare at me. But, yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to everyone's favorite part of the podcast, which is Mike's Magic Movie Hour.
Is there anything we need to, say?
It's Star Wars. What do we need to say?
And if you don't know what this is, then
we can say it at the end too, but I want to remind everyone that's watching, voting is up.
Yeah.
Yes! Thank you.
That's right!
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog to vote. We don't care.
Dogs can vote their people!
All you have to do, it's so easy. All you have to do is visit our website, Jesus Christ, Superstar, www.uranus-awards.com. The first thing that you see will be like a little light box that pops up. Click on vote. It'll take you right to the voting on this awesome app or website called playbuzz.com. And you can vote right there. It has awesome categories. There is a spoiler alert towards the bottom with Nosferatu being like, spoiler alert. But, so just be careful.
How many times can they vote, Max?
Once.
You can vote once.
But
I
it might...
twice already.
on different... Oh, well, you can do it on different, if you do it, you can do it on a computer, you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your tablet.
You can do it once per device.
Right.
Yeah.
But we might be doing, a special where you can, maybe for 1 week or a few days, you can do it every day or something. We'll see.
Yeah.
And if that's too complicated for you, just follow us on Facebook or Twitter because we're posting that all the time now.
Yeah.
And you can vote all the way up until January 13th, is it?
Yep.
Yep, January 13th.
But before we get to January 13th, I have an important question. Mike, what was the plot of The Last Jedi?
Yes. My time to shine.
I think you're going to be really good today.
Oh, because I have a lot to say.
You have so much to say about this
I
movie.
have, like,
Try and tell the plot
shopping
without
list.
spoilers, please.
Yeah, and let me get my glare on. There we go. That's a good glare.
So yeah, right down to it, Mark Hamill, Sorry.
What?
I was trying.
Is that a foghorn?
He's in the zone.
I was trying to get you to like stop me. Like.
No.
Anyway,
It was a really good story.
Last Jedi, Star Wars: Last Jedi is about a couple of Jedi, and they're training, and they got to get their force powers on.
I love. Keep going. Sorry. No. You're right. Keep going.
So, Luke Skywalker, he's got to get his groove back, and Rey's going to help him do that. Let's see. We got Finn. We got a new character who follows him around, and then they have their own little side adventure.
Named.
Can we do that? Okay, Rose.
That's
not a spoiler.
Mike.
Well, people don't know about the character
People can
necessarily.
look up IMDb.
I think they came out with her name a while ago.
If it's on IMDb, it's not a spoiler.
And you got Poe Dameron, Dameron Ding Dong, and he's hanging out on the Resistance
love you.
ship.
Sorry.
Thank
keep
you.
going.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's The Last Jedi. So
Alright.
if you didn't see it yet, that's all you need to know.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So before we get rolling, I want to point something out here. Max, our beautiful Max, is wearing a little bit of Star Wars swag.
Yeah,
This
man.
is a First Order hat. This is an official piece of Star Wars merchandise that is sold exclusively at AMC theaters.
Oh yeah.
And we're all gonna sign the hat and give it to one lucky winner.
Ooh.
No, I'm just
Or
kidding.
Max will kill you because
This is my hat that I paid money for from
Yeah.
Xander. No one's touching my hat.
I work
for a
at
good cause.
I work at AMC Lowe's Lincoln Square, the second busiest theater in the country, where a lot of the merchandise is sold. It took a lot of effort to get this hat because a lot of the merchandise went like that. But there are hats, there are plushies, Funko Pops, and there's a collectible limited edition tins. If you go on Sunday to the IMAX showing, you get an exclusive poster. There are 6 different ones. Go to a different IMAX screening every Sunday to get it.
So exciting.
Yeah, some great Star Wars swag going on at AMC theaters.
Well, okay, before we're telling people to go and see this movie in IMAX every Sunday for 6 Sundays, let's address the elephant in the room.
Are you
This
calling
is
me
the
fat?
most divisive Star Wars ever.
Correct.
Oh, that's
I don't
totally
agree with
true.
that.
What do you? Yes, you do.
That's
I'm trying to be divisive.
I
I don't
literally.
know about you,
I'm gonna
Xander,
punch you.
I came out of this movie like hyped. I was like, I loved this movie. It was beautiful. It was great.
and then the
Max
internet
is like-
happened.
I don't get it.
No.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of acted like it ruined your childhood.
No, that's not true.
Telling me I got a Star Wars hat for a guy who didn't even like it?
That's shown. Okay, I have. Okay, everyone,
You
shut
said
your mouth.
You didn't know.
Oh man.
Okay, so here's the thing. So obviously we have Letterboxd, and I originally gave it 5 stars. That spoiler alert. That's what I gave it, and then I gave it. I said to you guys as soon as we got out, I'm like, I need 48 hours to digest what I just saw.
Yeah.
So recently, I had it as the 3rd best movie of 2017. It was Logan, Coco, Star Wars, and then within 48 hours, I was like, I lowered it to 48 or to 4.5 stars, and then I moved it into 4th place, and then 2 days ago, I moved it into like 7th, and then today I moved into like 9th,
Wow.
and I'm
Lower
just
your
like,
score on Letterboxd?
I keep it at a strong 4.5, but I mean, Brett, who does our music, I had a long conversation with him about it, and he feels very similar to how I feel.
We're not in spoilers yet, but
No.
I had to explain the ending to you guys, so
I think it's because I was just so. The thing is, I got the ending. I was just very confused and frustrated, so I couldn't gather my thoughts. That's why I need to go see it again and be like, something that I wanted to happen didn't happen. I need to know that, go in and be like, okay.
So next season for Going In Deep, I want to start a new segment, which is Zach's favorite memes, where I'm going to print memes off the internet and show you guys related to the movie. Because the memes for Star Wars are hilarious. One of my favorites is the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but it says Star Wars fan. And it's like the prequel trilogies are too new. They're not like the original. But The Force Awakens is too much like the original.
I disagree.
And then people are complaining about this one, and they're like, it has too many callbacks, and it's too original. Nothing will satisfy Star Wars fans.
It's hard.
I thought it was a great movie.
That was like my first comment. Force Awakens is too much A New Hope. Last Jedi is not enough Empire Strikes Back.
It's complicated. Like this, I mean, you said it's really divisive, but there's gonna be a lot of things that like certain people don't like, and like I had to digest it for like a long time before I was like satisfied with the way I feel about it.
Here's the thing: is back when I was taking film classes, one of the things my teacher told me is that the original Star Wars is such a great movie because it's so simple. All of the characters are very archetypical and kind of one-dimensional. Their character progression is very simple. It's almost like a Final Fantasy game where you just have a group of all these different classes of characters. Because of that, the original trilogy plays out like a fantasy film through a sci-fi lens. People don't like the prequels because there's a lot of government talk and you gotta wait like 2 hours just to watch one cool lightsaber fight.
Well, I mostly don't like the prequels because they're really bad movies. Like, the talks of politics and government stuff, that doesn't bother me that much. But, yeah.
Yes, Max.
Oh, hi!
I was
I thought he was just being himself.
Movies I'm embarrassed I like, 1, 2, and 3. Characters I'm embarrassed I love, Jar Jar Binks.
no, get out.
The movie.
I love that movie. Oh, that's never gonna end, is it?
Sorry.
Ugh.
I don't know if it's because I grew... Like, those are the movies that came out when we were kids, right?
Yes,
Tell me you didn't think Jar Jar Binks was hilarious.
I didn't.
I never thought he was hilarious. I was mostly confused by him, but Phantom Menace came out when I was about 7 or 8 years old, so I enjoyed it the first time I saw it in theaters because I was mostly just on cloud nine from seeing Star Wars on the big screen again. Because they re-released the original trilogy in theaters in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, as soon as Attack of the Clones hit, that's when I started to be like, wait, hang on a minute, what the heck is going on right now? I don't get this shit.
I was 6 when these movies came out. And like I was telling you two, I was literally raised on Star Wars. I have literally been watching Star Wars longer than I can remember because my dad is such an obsessive Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's how I was too.
Yeah, I'm sure most of us.
Yeah.
When I was 6 years old and saw The Phantom Menace, obviously I liked it a lot more back then than I do now rewatching it. But I not like Jar Jar Binks. I was obsessed with Darth Maul. Growing up on Star Wars and seeing someone with a double-bladed lightsaber, to this day, that's still kick-ass.
Probably one of the biggest missteps of the prequels was not having Darth Maul throughout the prequel trilogy. Like, it's fine if you want to cut him in half in the first film, but like have him be an overarching subplot villain for the entire prequel trilogy.
Well, yeah,
I
I get why Count Dooku was in there. Like, he serves a role as like Qui-Gon's former master, but he's just visually not interesting. You know what I mean? Not like this dude with tattoos on his face and Count Dooku.
You know, the Christopher Lee character?
Yeah.
And I like Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
But he's not as interesting as a dude with tattoos on his face and horns and a double-bladed lightsaber. That's cool as
They
fuck.
did give us the second greatest...
But-
in Phantom Menace, they did give us the second greatest lightsaber battle of all time.
But that's the only good part of Phantom Menace is that lightsaber battle at the end.
See,
I
my
like
problem
pod
with that
racing.
lightsaber battle is it feels way too choreographed, like a ballet. It doesn't feel natural, like
The final battle?
yeah.
Shut up.
I think it's too much like a ballet. It feels like too calculated, like a puzzle piece. Like every move is predetermined by the director. You know what I mean? I love the lightsaber battles in all the originals and these new ones because they feel raw and they feel real. You know.
I'm glad it went back to that style of just kind of like two angry, pissed off people chopping wood.
Yeah, there's still
But-
style and substance to their fighting, but it feels real.
Before the prequels, where the Jedi are more of like an organization and more like well established, I kind of like the choreographed fights.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me. I shared these videos a few times, but there's this dude who's just basically a nerd who makes nerdy videos on a YouTube channel called Belated Media, and he has 3 different videos called What If the Prequels Were Good, and his explanations for how the prequels should have gone, in his view, are remarkably good. So watch those videos on his channel Belated Media if you want to see how the prequels could have been.
I like it.
It fits in the canon of all these new films too, so...
As movies, like, they may not be the greatest, but as, like, a huge Star Wars fan, reading books, comics, video games, everything like that, I like how it expands on the universe. And I know people don't like the politics, but it really gives a sense of, like, what's going on, like, how the Emperor came into power, how he became, like, the Palpatine that we all
It's
know.
great setup for the original trilogy, but it's only setup.
Okay, did you not love Mace Windu?
Oh, I have the Force FX
Purple
legit
lightsaber?
replica of Mace Windu's lightsaber because purple's my favorite color.
So,
No, I didn't love Mace Windu.
okay, well, he's in my top 5 characters in all of Star Wars, I think.
They managed to finally make Samuel L. Jackson boring, and I think.
Oh,
that's
I
a
think you're
sin.
so wrong.
That's a sin.
I think you're so wrong.
He's
But
like so serious.
We could have a full
angry.
podcast on the prequels. Let's
wanna
talk
go
about
back?
Episode 8.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, we're giving a little background on what's going on.
What'd you guys think of the directing?
Oh, I love the.
It was
directing.
directed so well.
Yeah.
All of my opinions are, like, and I assume yours, go right to spoilers. Besides, like,
Okay.
the fact that the acting...
We'll get as much,
No.
like,
I don't want, and I don't want to
possible.
go to spoilers. But the reason I'm so just like, because don't get me wrong, I loved this movie,
Ish.
but things happened that I. Anyway,
So, Ryan
but like
Johnson.
the acting was amazing. Adam Driver, Kylo Ren is maybe my favorite character in all of Star Wars right now, in like all of the movies. I think he is awesome. I think he's fascinating. I think that his backstory that we learned a little bit more about was
I
awesome.
won't say who I voted for, but in voting, there was a couple things I really struggled with if I wanted to vote for Adam Driver's Kylo Ren
Or
someone
Patrick
else.
Stewart.
Yeah, supporting
I
actor.
went
I was-
back and forth between those two.
But
That,
also most complex villain.
that whole supporting category is completely dynamite. Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
nailed it.
yeah, it's what we got. We got Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. We got Michael Shannon from Shape of Water. We got Michael Keaton from
And
Spider-Man.
then Patrick Stewart.
Then there's Patrick Stewart, and then there's the fifth one. Which, off the top of my head,
Keep talking.
I cannot remember.
But he's a good actor.
He was also a complex villain. We saw a lot of character development for this character.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of great stuff with Kylo Ren. Ryan Johnson has always been such a great show don't tell director. His entire filmography is super short. It's Brick, The Brothers Bloom, Looper, and the two
Finn
best-
Wolfhard.
Finn Wolfhard for it. Yeah, that's a great category there.
Yeah.
He did the two best episodes, in my opinion, of Breaking Bad. And in all of these movies, he's doing
Ryan
a really
Johnson
great.
did?
Yeah, he did Fly and Ozymandias in Breaking Bad. You know, the episode where Walt is obsessed with trying to capture a fly in the laboratory, and then, and then like the third episode from the last season, where I think it's like
Those last few episodes are
I think
dynamite.
everyone- just saying the Fly episode. Everyone remembers the Fly episode.
yeah, that was Ryan Johnson. He's always been great at show don't tell. Like even in Looper, which has narration, it's mostly philosophical narration, and everything you see you get, and
His style is just very crisp, though. You know?
it's very crisp. It's like it's I don't know how exactly how to describe it. He reminds me of a lot of if Christopher Nolan were an American, pretty much.
I can see that.
His films are distinctly American, and Christopher Nolan's films are distinctly British from the style of the direction, the style of the camera work, and I think I'm really sad that Ryan will not be involved in Episode 9 because I knew he was at least to some degree at one point.
Well, the show don't tell works really well for this movie. Like, I don't have any problems with like how it was made, but like we needed a little bit more tell. It's not that I want a character just like regurgitating exposition on us, but for certain characters that you guys know who I'm talking about, we got nothing told about them.
I'm gonna
A lot of visual
comment
cues.
a little more on some of the complaints people have because even though I hate we do this podcast on Tuesdays,
Yeah.
I do spend my whole weekend like looking at interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
So I saw some interesting takes on it from celebrities and actors and that kind of stuff.
Like people who weren't in the movie.
Like Mark Hamill, I
Okay.
watched an interview with him, and
But this movie's in the
J.J.
middle,
Abrams.
though. This like Force Awakens setups that sets up like a lot of plot holes and things we want to find out about, and then this movie, which follows it, doesn't really give us as much as at least I wanted to hear.
okay, so I know we're all eager to get into spoilers.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. It's okay. Take
all
our time.
All
Not
those
quite
like
yet, yeah.
plot holes and the answers that we did get, they answered them. I just think it's not the answers a lot of people liked.
Maybe.
And don't get me wrong, I had a lot of theories on the questions they did answer. Like, Max and I have been talking about this for months. But that movie was so good, I didn't care.
Yeah, I feel like I got enough from this chapter.
To me, the best thing about this movie was it was the most metaphoric heavy Star Wars.
You're not wrong there.
Yeah.
Before I forget this, by the way, everyone knows this because in the advertisements there's a little black ball droid.
Is BB-9?
I've taken to calling him BB Hate.
I like that. That's cute.
I had to say that before I forgot.
Also, like, no, never mind.
Just to emphasize what I'm trying to say is that I want to just copy off what you were saying, is that the movie, just like cinematography, CGI, acting, everything's great about the movie. My problem is just with the writing and the way the story goes. It's not...
Go ahead and expand on that.
Is it the overarching
hard.
story, though, or is it like the little spots where they answered questions?
And it's not everything either. It's not that there's like plot holes or anything. It's that with certain characters, details of their personality are kind of skewed on what I thought they would be. And the overarching story is fine, like what happens to everybody in the end, where they're going, that kind of stuff. It's great. It's just like a lot of the details of what's going on I wasn't too happy with.
Like what, for example? Anything non-spoilery that you can say.
Poe, like, he doesn't... I don't feel like he does a lot in this movie.
I think what he does and what Finn and Rose do is completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They don't need to do that. What's the point? Besides just, like,
Well,
doing transitions.
The resolution doesn't happen if they don't do that.
Yeah, it would.
I don't think so.
It accomplished literally nothing.
Yeah, they have like a whole hour to themselves.
Stick
like,
to that. We'll get to it in the.
I'm just saying,
half.
the ending was when that happened. Come on, I mean that was like one of the best parts of the movie.
We'll get to
But-
it. We'll get to it in the spoiler. half.
Yeah,
I need to grab my.
But no one knew they were going to do it, so their little side mission made sense.
sure, but it just felt like give him something else. Then I don't know. I just think that could have been written differently. It's like kind of how you say Wonder Woman should be like the plot could have been different, the villain could have been different. Like like I feel like it could have been
They
something
could have had a better side mission.
that actually made a really big difference.
Yeah.
To be honest, did it make a huge difference in the story? No.
I would disagree with you there.
I would agree with you for Finn and Rose. It was kind of busy work for them. I disagree.
Not
with you.
Poe. Not Poe.
Yeah. Poe,
Sorry.
I felt like got
Poe
some
and
really solid
he can do no
character.
wrong. For Rose and Finn, their mission was pointless.
When was the last time you guys watched Force Awakens?
Like 3 nights ago.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Twice before Last Jedi.
Okay, so I
I
watched.
think I watched it twice in the last 3 days.
I watched it the night before, and I mean, at least you two have watched it fairly recently, so maybe
Yes.
you disagree with me, right?
I've also seen the movie upwards of 30 times.
I
Yeah,
liked
yeah.
Poe a lot in that first movie, but rewatching it, like just kind of coming back and revisiting it, Poe doesn't do much.
Really?
Not in The Force Awakens.
He's
no.
in the.
He doesn't
opening,
need to.
He's in the opening. He helps Finn escape, and then after that, the only thing that's really said about him is, "Wow, he's a really great pilot. Wow, he's a really great pilot. Wow, he's an amazing pilot," and that's fucking it.
He's
Well,
got
we
a
also
sweet
get to
jacket.
see. We see
And
some
he's
of
got a
that.
sweet jacket.
We,
that Finn
we
steals.
see some of that though. We see him use his skills in the Force Awakens. It's a sliver, but we see it.
But that's it. Like all you get from him in the Force Awakens is that he's a really good pilot.
And you could
That's
say the
it.
same
Pretty
about the
much.
beginning in this movie, Last Jedi.
No,
much.
see, I disagree because in this movie you really see like what is his place in the Resistance.
I liked
What is
his character.
like?
And
I loved his character. I love his plot.
You really get more of an idea of who he is as a character and like the decisions he would make.
You know, I feel I think you actually told me that people were saying there wasn't enough starfighter battles in the Force Awakens.
There was no space battles.
But like even in this one, I don't think there was enough. I would have liked to see more. Like it's really the way the movie opens up is really cool. Like I love scenes like that. But I would have liked to see a little bit more later on. And that's despite the fact that they spend almost like 2/3 of the movie in space, in ships.
Also, feel free to comment and give us like some non-spoiler things that you would maybe want us to discuss. Continue.
Yeah. So while we're still in the non-spoiler section, I would love to talk about the performances.
Yeah.
Keep going. I'm gonna grab my shopping list.
I know you are.
You're shopping.
You don't need to duck.
So I have a
But I
list.
like when you do.
I have a list that is the 100 greatest screen performances of all time.
Okay.
This is not my
This is your
favorite.
personal list?
This is my personal list I made of the 100 greatest screen performances, not my favorite. I take several things into account with this list, like a lot of very obvious performances are on there. Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood, Meryl Streep in Sophie's Choice, Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront, etc. In this top 100
Max
list,
Joseph in the first annual Uranus Awards.
all right.
Right there, number 100.
In this 100 list, Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope is there.
Okay.
So it was such a complete gut punch to me watching this movie and realizing, my goodness, Mark Hamill dwarfed Alec Guinness's performance in A New Hope with his performance in this movie. That's the experience I had, and that was an incredible wave to me.
You think
See-
Mark Hamill had one of the greatest performances of all time?
I do. I really do, actually.
I actually disagree with that.
Hardcore, I do. I think he was it was his best performance as Luke,
So-
no question.
I guess without getting into too many spoilers, like, and this is a big complaint for a lot of people, is we see a very different Luke, right? This Luke is jaded and bitter and just wants to be left alone,
You learned that
Which-
within like the first 20 minutes.
which
yeah.
makes sense to me. But he switches back to old Luke every time there's even a hint of a callback to the original trilogy. He's this bitter old man. Like, even his voice changes until he sees Chewbacca, and then when he sees Chewbacca, he like sounds more like young Luke, where he's like, "Oh, Chewie." When he's on the Falcon and he sees R2-D2,
Right.
you know, and then that in that last scene too, which I won't spoil yet.
What really impresses me is Mark Hamill's performance, given the fact that he profoundly disagreed with the way Luke was written in the film.
That's what I was gonna say from
He
interviews.
spoke to Rian Johnson upon reading the script and said, "I want you to know that I disagree with basically every decision you've made for Luke in the script. That being said, this is your vision, and I'm going to work as best as I can with you to make it a reality."
Look, as much as I love
Doesn't that say something? But go on.
As much as I love Star Wars, and Mark Hamill is a treasure. He voiced the Joker. He voiced Fire Lord Ozai. He voiced Skips in regular show. Mark Hamill is a treasure to the nerd community.
Don't forget the Trickster in the Flash.
Trickster in the Flash.
Watch
Absolutely.
your next words carefully, though.
I personally don't give a shit what he won for Luke. I'm happy with the Luke we got.
I liked everything about his character from the beginning to the end.
It's not
I
Luke
liked-
Skywalker, though.
And then we have people like Mike on the internet.
You know my one thing that we'll talk about, but nothing had to do with him. I think he was so good, beginning to end. I love how they did everything about him. I love his
It's
character.
a beautiful pairing of performance and screenplay to me.
There's literally a petition online right now.
Oh my god, I know.
Of fans trying to
You kidding?
remove The Last Jedi from being canon.
And
It's
it
so
has
funny.
13,000 signatures as of this morning.
What
What is
the
like
hell is
change.org
wrong with
or
you
something?
guys?
13,000.
See, I would never do that.
That's a little
Hell, I hate
extreme.
Here's the thing: is you don't get to decide what happens in these. Like, if you don't want to be a fan anymore, that's your problem. But that's literally like picking up the new Harry Potter book and writing to J.K. Rowling and being like, "Nah, let's just pretend this didn't happen." You don't get that choice.
Here's the... Wait, we're not on spoilers yet, right?
No.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Just so we are clear, critics on the tomato meter give it 93%. The audience give it 55%. It's kind of the same on Metacritic, 86, and then the audience scores 4.2 or something.
I think we'll see the audience score change, because
Yeah,
it's only been out for a couple of days.
No, totally.
I think
But-
I think it's such a strange experience that people need to sort of settle into before they think. I think they're jumping to their ratings really quickly.
Yeah.
That's why I tried to marinate on it.
I know, me too.
Yeah, I did too. As a matter
I'm
of
gonna
fact,
put my foot in the water, so to speak, and give some minor spoilers. But the things people are most upset about is like.
Whoa,
I'm not gonna answer it.
No,
Wait.
because if we start that, I'm not going to stop.
Well,
so
yeah,
don't
we
even say
gotta-
what I want. Are you about to say what I'm going to say?
Okay.
Not gonna lie, I'm
people,
interested here.
The questions that we did get answered, people are mostly upset. One, because it didn't have as big of an impact as they wanted, and two, because it wasn't the answer they wanted.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is like, if you say that Rey's parents are this character, there's gonna be all these fans that are all pissed off that it's not the character they wanted, and the only people that are gonna be happy is the other, person's character or whatever.
I don't think that's as important as how they did it. What the answer that we actually get, like, I'm totally fine with, but it's the way they do it that kind of really throws me off. Like, I just didn't get, or I didn't understand why they did it the way they did it.
Which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
I do have a question for the table, and this is easily a non-spoiler question because it has to do with John Williams. There's about 6 of us voting on all these nominations.
I know exactly
Okay.
what I'm
How
about to say.
is it that between 6 of us, Death Note got the music nomination over John Williams' Star Wars score, which is the greatest piece of film music ever?
Yo, my lady.
How
I would like to say
is
Drew
why-
was actually the person to bring Death Note to the table.
is that right? I used
Yeah.
to like Drew.
You know, the soundtrack...
I wasn't going to tell you because I knew you were going to be like, fuck him.
let me answer that. It's
And
actually-
actually, this, like,
Oh,
did you know that Death Note's in my top 20 of the year?
Let me. Lord, give me the strength not to slap this short man and let me hear Mike
To be
speak.
fair, Xander, I think Alita Battle Angel that comes out next year looks like shit.
No, that just looks like it scares you.
So weird.
Yeah, that too.
What's wrong with her face?
She looks like a fucking mannequin. It's
She looks like an
creepy.
anime character.
The entire
That
time
trailer
we're
came.
watching
That
this
trailer
together, I
came
was
out.
like,
Zach was like this.
But I was laughing my ass off because they used the SPCA Sarah McLachlan Arms of the Angels song to do an
Yeah.
action movie.
yeah.
It looks so weird. Like, just make her face normal.
Mike, you were gonna say a thing.
So wait, quick side note. Remember what I told you in the movie theater when we saw that, though?
You told me several things. You're gonna be more specific.
Oh my god. So I think that they're kind of dipping their toes in the water with famous anime or like manga for movies for the American audience, and they're kind of working their way
Oh,
up
that's
to
right, that's right.
American Akira.
Is
You know Taika
is
Waititi
Alita
is supposed
Bat-
to do that?
I mean, I
really?
loved Thor
Interesting.
Ragnarok, so
Is Alita Battle Angel a manga?
Yeah.
I think it was a manga first, and
It's
then they
actually
made an
called
anime.
Battle Angel Alita.
Interesting.
Austin Knoll has commented, and he's also the one who won our most recent giveaway.
Hey, Austin.
Congratulations, Austin.
Congrats, brother.
He got a Spider-Man Funko Pop.
When
He
are we
said,
sending the newborn? Isn't that our next prize, a newborn child?
anyway, he said, well, I think we've kind of just talked about it a little bit, but do you guys think the majority of people hating on this film is because of their own theories not being true?
Yes, absolutely.
A lot.
Probably.
A lot.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
That
so.
is me, and I'm mad it's me.
Because so many
I feel
people.
so... I'm...
Listen,
This is what happens when you want to walk into a film and then walk out going, "Called it,"
And that's...
then you
I'm so
can't.
mad at myself about it.
And then you can't.
but Max called something, and I called 50% of something.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
When we were
don't
at
like
dinner.
being able to predict a movie. I like it when a movie.
Max
can
and I
Yeah,
had a
that's-
Listen,
fine.
I was shocked
Max and I had
throughout
a
the
wonderful
whole
date
movie.
night. We got dinner beforehand. We had drinks. We discussed Star Wars.
You dating now?
Don't tell Sam.
Hey, Andy, what's up? Andy, we're talking about Star Wars. Have you seen it? Oh, yeah, you have. You gave it a 4 on Letterboxd. Let us know what you think. We're on the non-spoiler section, so if you have anything to say and we want to talk about, tell us. Michael,
what?
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Oh yeah, we were talking about John Williams. Here's the thing about the soundtrack. I didn't walk away from the movie like being really that awed by the sound in the movie.
Is that right?
And Star Wars is some of my favorite music for anything.
That's true.
I would
It's-
like
This was not the
great.
best film for music.
to say that my vote was for Star Wars.
Is that right?
I didn't want Death Note. though. I
Honestly,
didn't-
maybe this sounds extreme. I love this movie. I don't see myself not loving this movie, but I feel like it's too soon to say this is my favorite Star Wars movie. Like I said,
No.
I walked out of The Force Awakens and I loved it, and then I go back, 2 years later now. Not that I haven't watched it in between. I have watched it in between, but watching it 2 years later, it's not as amazing and awe-striking.
Striking.
Sucking, awe-sucking. Anyways, I want to give this like at least a year before I decide like where I want it in my Star Wars ranking. But I do love it.
I put it second, actually, behind A New Hope.
Before Empire, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Empire's not the best
I put
one.
Empire third. I put Empire third.
What?
Empire's third for me too.
Empire's awesome.
All right, so
I love Empire.
I have something I want to say as soon as we get into spoilers, but is there anything?
I feel like we're
Left.
missing some stuff.
We're probably missing a ton.
I think we are all just on the edge of our seats. We're like, let's just get into spoilers.
You know what?
Just,
Yeah, I do have a good non-spoiler question, I think. How was your experience going to the movies to see this movie? Like, where did you see it, and how was the crowd? How was everything that night?
We went to Magic Johnson, but it was a solid crowd.
It was
Yeah.
a packed house, and as soon as like, woo!
For sure.
I was so into it though. I love that shit. As long as no one's talking in the middle of the movie.
Everyone was quiet, and then they showed that Infinity War trailer. And the end of the Infinity War trailer, I started clapping, and then
No.
everyone else started
Wait,
clapping.
pause, rewind. As soon as the Infinity War trailer started, you started weeping.
I teared up. I did.
No. It was not teared up. You were like,
yeah. Oh yeah. I finally saw the Infinity War trailer.
Oh, all right.
I hate you.
all right.
And that trailer was great.
I feel like once I started clapping and everyone else started clapping, I think it was like reassuring to the audience, okay, people aren't going to be pissed off if you clap during this movie. So of course, like as soon as the Star Wars logo comes out, people are cheering and clapping. I think they clapped when Luke first comes on screen, right?
Yeah, come on. I was expecting that.
Yeah, there was lots of clapping. I got lucky with my tickets. I saw it with a group of 6, including myself. We saw it in the Lowe's room of Lincoln, my theater, and the very back.
On the balcony?
On the balcony.
I wanna sit on the balcony.
In the middle, in the back, with all the leg room in the world. It
That's
was fantastic.
nice.
And it's in the biggest theater room in that entire place. It seats 740 people.
When I went to see Shape of Water, I sat on the balcony, like in the back row.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
And
where I was.
That's the same time that they had the Guillermo del Toro Q&A.
Nice.
So afterwards, I ran up. I'm like leaning over the.
It was great for me because I'm not a huge fan of people, and I only got to see like 4 rows of people in front of me, even though I knew that there was like 600 people below me. I didn't get to see any of them, which was great. And as big a crowd as it was, the applause did not disturb the movie. Like
No,
we didn't miss a
at the
thing.
right times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Our audience our audience empathy was great. We all experienced the same thing and didn't miss anything.
I've got a question for you guys. What did you think about the humor?
Oh yeah, well this is this isn't
My cringe.
this isn't Ryan's first like time being humorous in his movies. Obviously, like the Brothers Bloom, excuse me, is a really funny film when you get right down to it. But yeah, this was a great film with comedic timing.
That's like another big criticism that a lot of fans are having is like,
I have no problem with that.
There's too much comedy.
Shut up.
Star Wars isn't supposed to be funny like that.
It's not supposed to be funny like that. Like, Star Wars is funny, and it has tons of funny moments.
I
but,
still laugh
like,
my ass off when Han looks right at the camera, goes, "Who's scruffy looking?"
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot more comedy in these modern Star Wars films, but
Different comedy.
It is different.
It's a different style of comedy.
Yeah.
It's the Marvel style of comedy.
It's not supposed to be like slapstick almost. They make like a your mama joke in the first couple minutes.
Look, people love the Marvel movies, right? We all know that. And in any Marvel movie you see, there's jokes like every 10, 20, 15 minutes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay? Kevin Feige even came out and said all the Marvel movies are going to be action comedies. Mm-hmm. That's just set in stone. We're never going to get a serious Marvel movie.
which is a good idea.
Sorry.
And a big criticism that people have the DC movies is they're too dark and serious, so they tried that same thing in Justice League. Justice League, we got those awkward jokes every,
My man!
It didn't work because fucking Zack Snyder doesn't know
I
how
love
to
that,
do
though.
that.
It doesn't work, but that's still, again, why they're doing it in Star Wars. You're going to see a lot more movies doing this because that's just kind of the way that movies are going.
But at Star Wars, it's too much.
See, I had no problem with comedy whatsoever.
No, I loved it. The chemistry between the characters was excellent, and that's required for good comedy.
I think Oscar Isaac did a brilliant job. His character is written so well. I think his
delivery,
punchlines are brilliant and spot on. All of his like slight head turns and everything. It's so good.
It's all about little moments in delivery.
Yeah,
it was
and
awesome.
same. I mean, Mark Hamill was the funniest part of this movie because the first moment. I'm not gonna say just throws it, and you're like,
I'm not gonna say it. It literally says.
well, I don't know what he threw.
What did
All right,
you throw?
that's
Come on.
enough. Let's get
I
into
think
spoilers.
that's a sign we need. to
Okay,
get
wait. So I'm gonna write on our
it's time.
thing. Spoilers ahead.
All right.
Do-ba-da-ba-da-do.
If you haven't seen Star Wars: The Last Jedi,
Max can spell.
don't watch. I'm not using a punctuation because I'm lazy. Okay, fine, I'll do it.
Let's save the big one for the
I
end.
don't,
but
I don't really care if you do.
Which fight do we want to have first? Ray's parents, Snoke's backstory.
Ray's parents, stand by.
I got a small one to carry us into spoilers. I watched Rogue One.
So spoilers are officially happening. Okay.
I watched Rogue One after The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Turns out there's a very small Last Jedi Easter egg in the Rogue One movie.
What is that?
Do you remember towards the end where Felicity Jones, what the heck is her name again?
Jyn Erso.
Jen?
Jyn Erso, sorry. I am so tired. Jyn Erso is looking through all the files to try and find the planets of the Death Star, and she
Know what you're
sifts
talking about.
through.
I saw that.
The
online.
technology.
Sifts through a few
Yeah.
things, and she says hyperspace tracking. The Empire has been planning hyperspace tracking for years now. and
Yeah.
Oh.
that was a cool little thing. So
I love that.
Basically,
That's tight.
Basically, with these little anthology movies, we need to keep our eyes open for future spoilers and stuff like that.
Okay. So,
But it still comes out of nowhere.
so Ray's parents. First, let's say what were our theories?
Okay, wait. Can I go?
My theory was that Rey was going to join the Cool Runnings team, and her parents were the Cool Runnings.
Jamaica. Did you know it's in my top 10 movies of all time?
I know.
You mentioned it.
I
every
know.
Episode.
That's why I bring
Oh
it
my
up.
god!
That's
done that in
why
a
I
while.
bring it up every episode.
Okay, wait. Okay, so let's start with who Ray's parents are. I blame myself for not giving this 5 stars and for not making this my favorite movie of the year. I put so much hype on who her parents were, and I am so
were her-
mad. Her
What
parents.
was your theory? What was your theory? first?
So
want
I thought it would be
theory.
really cool if she was either a Palpatine or a Kenobi.
That was my theory.
I ended up saying I think she's going to be a Kenobi. Turns out, again, we are in spoilers, so if you
Question,
are
did I convince you on the Kenobi theory?
no, just it made too much sense because they're also making an Obi-Wan movie. So I'm like it would have made sense to me.
Well, I'm telling you, my whole theory was because in A New Hope, Obi-Wan tells Luke, I used to be a Jedi.
Right, and I actually rewatched it and I thought of that.
So my whole thing was like, he drops off baby Luke, buries the lightsaber, has like a family.
Yeah.
Something bad happens to his family, he has to dig up the lightsaber Punisher style, and that's your prequel movie.
Okay, so again, I put so much pressure on myself and I let myself down. So it turns out that her parents are nobodies.
They're drunks.
They're scavengers, they're nobody. Literally.
They literally say that they were drunks. So
Yeah.
probably sold her for wine money.
And I was so pissed off by this. I was taken out of the movie from that point till the end.
So so
And I was
My
I was
turn.
mad at myself.
Zach Hammer's here for the defense. So here's the thing, right?
As he hammers down.
Here's the thing. We made who Ray's parents were a big deal.
Oh, you did.
Because I would have
I
loved for her
did.
to be a Kenobi. But the reason why her parents being no one is the best answer is
I'm
because
fine. Go
that
ahead.
goes with the whole theme of the movie.
Okay.
The whole reason we see that kid at the end is the idea. The whole title, The Last Jedi, has double meaning. Luke Skywalker is the last Jedi, but it's also a paradox because there will never be a last Jedi. Hope can come from anywhere, even a slave girl who is abandoned by her family, or the little slave kid. Even out of nowhere, hope can still be there. There will never be a last Jedi. There will always be Jedi.
Okay, wait, but here's the thing. I am really okay with what they did and the fact that her parents are nobodies. And that's why I need to go see this movie again because, like, I actually really like that. I was talking to Brett about this, and he's like, yeah, but now, like, it's not special. It's just like anyone can be it. And I was like, I don't
And
agree with
that's
you.
the whole point.
Which I actually really like. I do like that. There are a lot of people who are like, okay, so that's ridiculous. It should be like within like blood or whatever.
Didn't Ryan Johnson come
But I
out-
disagree with that.
Didn't Ryan Johnson, like, when they first revealed the title, didn't he say that The Last Jedi has more than one meaning?
I'm sure he did.
He also said it was plural.
So, like, I'm okay with the fact that they are nobody. I was just so heated in the moment that I, like, was angry the rest of the movie. But it was so good, and that's why I need to go see it again, knowing that I'm going to be disappointed. Because then I'm sure it'll go back up to, like, number 3.
Because everyone wants to relive that, like, oh, Darth Vader's Luke's father, but if they do that again, and it's, oh, you're Palpatine's granddaughter, or you're Kenobi's granddaughter,
Totally.
or whatever, like...
I didn't need that, though. I didn't need that.
It's actually not as impactful. Again, I love the, she's Rey Kenobi theory,
Mhm.
but I'm almost glad I was wrong. There's so much more meaning in her being a nobody.
But I do also think that they could have made her someone, which they still can. I don't think they will. I don't think they should.
JJ.
But right, I don't think they will, and I think that you can. They could, if they would have made her someone like a Kenobi or a Palpatine or a Skywalker or whatever. They still could have made. They still could have made the point that anyone can be a Jedi somehow.
Would it have been as impactful though?
I don't know, but I'm just saying they could have done it.
And it wasn't impactful the way they did it. Like,
Sorry, Mike.
well, I just want to say, like, the biggest problem I have with that, it's not that she doesn't have, like, anybody important as her parents. You're going to say, the fans built it up, or, like, people were saying it was going to be this or it was going to be that. I disagree. They did it in the movies where they built it up so much, and then it's kind of just a letdown, because you're wondering who they are in the Force Awakens. You're still wondering who she is in this movie. She goes down into a cave to find out who she is. She's talking to Kylo Ren about who she is. And finally, he asks her that, he says something like, oh, like, you know who they are, like, just say it. There's, like, a couple second long pause. You're like, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And it's just nobody. So, like, why are you trying to build me up like that? Like,
They did also have that huge scene of her, like, going down and the mirror thing. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
we're
in
about
the
to find
cave.
out. They made it a huge deal.
yeah, exactly.
I still want to know though why in The Force Awakens when she grabs a lightsaber she hears Obi-Wan's voice and he says, "Rey, these are your first steps."
And I'm sure we'll find that out in 2 years.
I don't know.
Xander, what were you going to say about her parents?
I'm just going to say this is why I go into these movies blind.
How would you guys
No theories.
How would you guys feel if in episode 9 they undo it and they're like, haha, gotcha, he was lying.
I feel like that's
She's
something
actually Rey Kenobi.
JJ would do.
I think that
No.
they shouldn't.
I don't want him to. I want him to expand and evolve on these things that Ryan put in for us, but I don't want him to change
It would take away. It would absolutely take away.
Yeah, it would ruin the entire meaning of that movie.
Yeah.
I'm
Again,
very frightened for episode 9.
A big
Oh, I'm not.
part of
I'm
the
excited.
reason why it's called The Last Jedi is a fake out that there never will be a Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Hope can come from anywhere.
There,
We're in spoilers. I'll just say, like,
You can.
by the end of this movie, the resistance is so small. The only thing that's left is whatever fits on the Millennium Falcon and a bunch of random porgs that just kind of snuck on and made it their home.
And then there's also rebels scattered around the galaxy that are too afraid to help.
Right.
Right.
So
I mean, I didn't go into this movie with any expectations, but I'm actually excited for what they're going to do in 9 now. But, like, J.J. Abrams directing it, like, this isn't Lost. He better actually, like, have some answers and stop with his
got
stupid...
such a hard job. It's
Apparently they're shooting under the which, as we know from stealing the filming signs for the Defenders shows, they always film under fake names. Apparently they're filming episode 9 under Black Jewel.
But he's got J.J. Abrams has this theory, or I forget how you would describe it, but it's called the Mystery Box. You can go and see it on TED Talks.
it's everything he ever does is about the fucking mystery box.
Yeah, but
What's the Mystery Box?
it works for some things. You can't apply that to everything that you make, and that's
Yeah,
what he
what's the
does.
Mystery Box?
Yeah.
Explain it.
So the Mystery Box is that it's kind of it's like what's in the box. It could be anything. Like a lot of with Ryan Johnson, like show don't tell. I know I'm explaining this very poorly, but it's just watch Lost, and that's the mystery box.
Did you watch Westworld?
I love Westworld.
You remember how there was a mystery box in Westworld?
Don't give anything away.
Oh, please no spoilers for Westworld.
Oh, really?
I actually haven't watched it.
I watched it a while ago. That's
They're-
the problem with binging shows in one weekend is like a couple weekends later you forget
Well,
details.
I'm not going to go deep into it, but there's literally a mystery box where you're wondering what's inside of it, and that's basically the theme he applies to every project he
Wait,
has
what
ever
was in the
done.
box?
Stuff.
Nope.
you
The mics
can-
are nope.
I've
You-
already watched
Zan-
it. So
Xander, you,
You guys can
actually
text about it
probably
later.
explain
We'll
this a
talk
lot
about
better
it
than
later.
I can.
Alright.
If you want to take the reins on that.
I mean, yeah, it's literally just a box where you're wondering what's inside the thing the whole time.
it's like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's like Schrodinger's cat, you know?
but it works with like characters too.
But JJ does it for everything.
Do
And
you
it can
think-
get a little annoying sometimes?
I almost feel like because originally, what was it? Con Trevorrow was supposed to do episode 9.
Yeah.
So Ryan Johnson wrote and directed this.
Mhm.
Con Trevorrow was supposed to write and direct episode 9. I think they said J.J. Abrams is going to pitch episode 9 to Disney
Yes,
this week.
that's right.
I think J.J. Abrams just like purposely created a lot of like plot holes and fill in the blanks for everyone else so they had something to play with.
But there's a consistency in Star Wars. You don't just like dump a
Throw
whole...
it away.
No, not throw it away. You just don't dump a whole lot of like, oh, what's going to be this? What's going to be that? You know, the audience isn't supposed to be like asking tons and tons of questions.
Give Ryan Johnson, you give Con Trevorrow, more creative freedom and more creative liberties to do what they want with those empty questions. The fact of the matter is J.J. Abrams probably didn't even have an answer to any of these questions, and Ryan Johnson just filled them in how he saw fit.
And look what happened in this movie. We got characters that like.
Do you want to get into it?
Yeah, I just want to get into it. Let's
Okay,
talk about
let's
Snoke.
talk about Snoke.
Let's talk about Snoke.
How are you today?
Let's see.
great.
Okay.
Yeah?
I'm sorry,
Mike,
guys.
I'm giving you
Later?
this one. Go
we'll
for
cuddle
it.
right now. We'll
Yeah.
go out later.
This is good.
Okay. Snoke is just killed
Yo.
in such
Yo.
in such a stupid way. I mean, I thought it was cool.
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul. It's cool.
That was a good. That was a
It's
really cool
stupid, but it's really cool. Kylo Ren cuts him in half. Snoke is like, "Oh, I can read your mind. I know what you're doing." And then Kylo Ren turns the lightsaber that's next to him on him and cuts him in half. But this destroys everything that they were talking about in Force Awakens. Snoke clearly has ulterior motives for everything he's doing. He's stronger than Palpatine.
Let him speak. Shut up. It's Mike Magic Hour.
Snoke is clearly stronger than Palpatine. Nobody knows why. He has a thing against Luke Skywalker. Nobody knows why. He wanted to corrupt Ben Solo for just reasons, and now he wants Rey for reasons.
Probably to turn her into another Knight of Ren.
And how did he even make the First Order in the first place? And now we're not going to know any of that.
That's not necessarily true. Just
We're
because
gonna get a
character,
comic like
just
next year,
because
I
characters
guarantee.
die doesn't mean we don't get answers.
But like the fact that,
You're gonna
Everyone-
get your Snoke comic book. Who cares?
but that's
You
not
show
what they
everything.
want. That's not what
Come
I want.
on, yeah.
That's not what people want. I
Did
don't
you
think.
guys read a Snoke comic book?
After,
If I knew what his position was, yes.
It's hard to sell me on expanded universe stuff. I love
Same.
the Rogue Squadron books. It took me a long time to get into those. I am just going to start getting into Star Wars Rebels once I find a safe way to watch it. But
So, what Ryan Johnson's defense is when you watch the original trilogy, you have no idea who the Emperor is other than he's evil.
I don't like that comparison.
And he was put in.
He was
just-
also in all 3 movies.
no, he wasn't.
He was in A New Hope.
He was known throughout the first 3 movies.
Yes,
Not in New Hope, though.
Did they
Yes.
Oh, wait, was he?
very,
I don't
very
know.
slightly.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
So let me.
But here's the bigger thing. The reason because the original trilogy relies on archetypes, the only reason the Emperor is in there is A New Hope establishes Darth Vader as this evil guy.
Mm-hmm.
You then have to create a character that is even more evil to make Vader's redemption somewhat believable.
Okay.
If there is no bigger evil, then Vader's redemption is just kind of like, well, what the fuck? That'd be like Sauron in Lord of the Rings all of a sudden becoming good. You're like, why?
Palpatine is an evil guy. He's the big bad just to be the big bad. It's cool that we find out a lot about his character in the prequels, but with Snoke, he is not just a copy of the Emperor.
Right.
He has things going on. He created there's so much to his
Where
character.
did it come from?
Yeah, exactly. Palpatine is fine in the original trilogy, just as the evil guy, but Snoke sets up so much, and then done.
I don't think we've seen the last of him, to be honest.
Really?
I mean, as a Force ghost or something?
Perhaps. I know we're not done learning about his story or his actions.
See, I'm where they are. Oh, actions? Sorry, go ahead.
Like everything he was setting up. Kylo Ren is in power now, and there's no way he doesn't know pretty much everything about Snoke, or at least a lot about him. So, I feel like we're going to have some questions answered in the next
I just need
episode.
some sort of clarity of who he was.
And Kylo Ren
why
doesn't
and
care
how.
about Snoke. He doesn't
Obviously.
give a shit.
So here's
And it made for a really good turn.
Here's
That was
my-
awesome.
Do I like that we didn't see Snoke's background? No, I'm a little disappointed by that. But they sacrificed Snoke to boost Kylo Ren's character progression so much. To
I
me,
loved that.
That
Yes.
is a completely worthy sacrifice. That was great character development.
But
It is.
Also,
It is.
you guys know my biggest complaint about this movie, the thing I hate the most, is yet again we do not see the Knights of Ren. The only thing we hear about them is they were former Jedi students from Luke's temple.
Yeah, I want to see them. They
I
sound
am
really
pissed
cool.
off because they have since The Force Awakens has been in production. They've been like, oh, this is Kylo Ren. He's not a Sith. He's a Knight of Ren. There's 7 Knights of Ren.
Which they
Wow.
tease in The Force
Great.
Awakens.
That
Yeah.
sounds incredible. Where are they? Oh, maybe in the 3rd movie.
You're making jokes about a
Fuck
Snoke comic?
that.
You're going to get a Knights of Ren comic or book or something.
Well, what if
I could care less about the Knights of Ren, though,
what if-
compared to the other questions that I had.
What if part of the premise of Episode 9 is the other Knights of Ren go after Ben for killing Snoke?
Great.
It's possible.
That could be a redemption for him, maybe.
Maybe
I also
they're
think he's going to end up being good.
Do we want to get into Kylo Ren a little bit?
We can get into literally anything.
Kylo Ren is not Darth Vader. He's supposed to be would you say he's an antithesis?
Antithesis.
No, it's Antithesis today.
That of Darth Vader, because somebody tries to redeem him and it doesn't work, whereas Darth Vader was successfully redeemed by Luke Skywalker.
Here's the thing, and Luke even calls him out on it. Kylo Ren kills Han Solo just to get more power. Kylo Ren kills Snoke because he's sick of his shit and sick of being pushed around. It's entirely different killings.
Sure.
But also
What's-
to get more power, because now he's the supreme leader.
They held off on killing Leia, though. So
Well,
he's
they
still...
love- that was
they
a really great
weren't
moment.
planning to kill Leia at all. She was
Yeah.
supposed to be the focus of Episode 9.
But his character's clearly conflicted. And I mean,
Oh,
Adam...
yeah.
Can I
that's
just say
one of my-
Adam Driver did an amazing
Yes.
job showing that?
And
He-
that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. When Luke goes on the Millennium Falcon and grabs the dice. What?
Oh,
Patrick,
this is
our good old
uh,
Patrick said Adam Driver's absolutely killing it. Shirtless scene, 10 out of 10, am I right?
What was with those up to his nipples, high waisted pants though?
Whatever, he was nailing it. Sorry, go ahead. Thanks, Patrick, as always.
Not
When
everyone
Luke goes
has
on
to
the
show
Millennium
their
Falcon, he
navel.
grabs the dice, right, and then he hands them to Leia at the end.
Yeah.
Because if you guys are in this spoiler section, we're assuming you've seen the movie, so we're gonna skip a couple steps. But since he and Rey are, communicating telepathically through the
Via
Force,
Snoke.
Yeah.
so
Again, showing how powerful he is. I'm sorry, go ahead.
after Kylo Ren storms the base and becomes the ultimate evil and the supreme leader, he has one final reach out to Rey, because Rey's trying to change him for the good, and she closes the door on him.
It was beautiful.
And when she closes the door on his ass, the dice from his father's ship disappear. That was the biggest indicator that even now, even with him as the supreme leader, there is still conflict. There's still an ounce of good, but he burned all his fucking bridges.
What's with the dice? I mean, other than the fact that they're
Oh,
in...
there's some-
Wait. Other than the fact that they're in the Millennium Falcon.
Apparently they were in the Millennium Falcon in A New Hope. In
Really?
very small scenes.
No shit.
Very small.
That's
You
what I figured.
barely would have noticed it. But I'm willing to bet with this Han Solo movie, we're going to see the origins of those dice or something.
Ugh.
Yeah, probably. I remember the dice from A New Hope, but I never considered them to be anything, really.
They could have done something more
My
I don't know.
my bet is that as soon as Han gets the Millennium Falcon from Lando, he just like hangs those dice to claim his territory or
Right.
something.
Maybe.
There's no way Han isn't a gambler when he's a younger person. So
Wait, what's coming first? The Han Solo movie
Yeah.
or the Kenobi movie?
the Solo movie comes out in
Solo.
2018, maybe. I say maybe
Supposed
because
to.
that production has been wrought with problems. But then again, so was A New Hope. So
Supposedly it's coming out in May.
supposedly yes, but
You
I
gonna
don't
push it
think.
back?
I'm pretty sure they're gonna put it to December because of how well Star Wars does in December,
We would
But
have had
here's the
like a
thing-
and also because
teaser.
of how much this production has been screwed.
But if they release the Solo movie in May, that means we have over a year and a half without a Star Wars movie.
I'm okay with that.
You realize how eager
no, I'm
people
not.
would be for
Well-
Episode 9 with that much starvation?
The original 3 and the prequels all had 3 years between them.
Sure.
And we had two.
But Disney's trying to make their billions
Well-
of dollars back.
Wait,
which
when's
they
the
do every day by
there-
just breathing.
There's that Hulu show coming out. I don't think it's that soon though, right?
Hulu show?
For Star Wars, or is that
No,
going to be the
that's
Disney
Disney's
only
own
stream?
streaming
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, Hulu might turn into the Disney-owned streaming service because since Disney bought Fox, if that deal goes through, Disney owns 60% of Hulu.
Oh yeah, they also have ABC, right? Right.
There's
Okay.
so much
And
stuff to keep up with,
ESPN.
man. There's so
It's-
much to keep up with.
It's gonna be Apple versus Disney in the end.
It's
One's gonna bow
disgusting.
the other, and then they're gonna control the world, and then like Mickey Mouse will be president.
That is crazy how
Which is
much
fine,
of the media
honestly.
they control. It's weird.
I'd rather have Mickey Mouse as the president.
You want to talk about Leia for a bit?
Oh yes. Speaking of which, okay, it was a great moment. So okay, you
I'm
see,
Mary Poppins, y'all.
truly,
Yeah, it was so surprising when she said that. I didn't know she was a guardian.
yeah, and literally, Julie Andrews came in and it was so strange. She said, "Just a spoon."
I heard
of
that
sugar."
I heard that was the moment Michael Rooker actually cried during Star Wars.
Really?
Well, it was a great. You did too.
But for real though,
No.
Gary Fisher, her French bulldog, actually perked his ears
Yeah.
up when he saw her on screen, and I'm dead.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Okay, so a great moment where Adam Driver, Kylo Ren, like is about to shoot the base and he can't do it because it's his mom. And then
And conflict and all that crap.
yeah, it was beautiful. I thought Adam Driver is a genius. He is my favorite character in this movie. I voted him for best supporting actor. I think he's so good. So the two other Star Destroyers destroy the thing. Leia is shot into the abyss of space, and you're like, okay, she's dead. Great way for Carrie Fisher to go out. Cool. So, all of a sudden, like, we see, like, a Yondu-esque face, like, like there's polka dots all over her face, like, she's dying. And all of a sudden, magical Leia opens her eyes, and she just reaches out, and she flies. And she uses the Force to get back into, like, breathable air into the spaceship. And I'm like, this is great. I'm so confused and have so many questions.
So wait, you liked it or you didn't like it?
I don't know yet.
Wait, can I
Well, I
take
mean-
that one?
Leia, go ahead.
I mean, she's always been Force sensitive. We know that.
Yes.
You know?
So she is actually supposed to be almost, if not as strong as Luke Skywalker. She just doesn't have formal training.
But but here's my thing. We have never seen her do that. We have seen her talk. That's it. She saved her life. That, like, if Luke did that, I would freak out.
I think it's fair to
Right?
assume that between the 15 years between the last movie, Endor and Force Awakens, what
Return
is
of
it?
the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens.
That's like 30 years, isn't it?
30, 20 something years. I don't know.
It's like 30 years.
But I think it's fair to assume that
anniversary of Star Wars.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just crazy, but
But I think it's fair to assume that Luke Skywalker would train her at least a little bit in controlling her power
not
with the
Jedi.
Force.
I don't think she would want that though. But
Yeah.
She's a general.
Also remember, even Rey reflexively does shit that's amazing just because she's so strong with the Force,
Yeah.
and that's a very
Especially at the end of
that's a
Force
very-
Awakens.
That's a very, or don't try it.
Well, I know people aren't really going to care as much, but in the previously canon extended universe, she has a
Star Wars Legends.
yeah, Star Wars Legends. She has a lightsaber. She goes through training.
Yeah.
and she becomes like a pretty powerful Jedi.
There's also like a
don't like that.
alternate reality story where Luke actually turns to the dark side when he finds out Darth Vader's his father in that moment, and then Leia becomes a new Jedi.
It's pretty cool.
Which is a
too.
great story, by the way.
That's
I heard from some extended lore that Yoda wanted to train Leia and not Luke.
That was one of the thought out plans for Return of the Jedi as a screenplay, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the craziest things I like to imagine about Return of the Jedi is if either Steven Spielberg or David Lynch took the director's job, because they were both asked.
Steven Spielberg said he would never do a Star Wars movie.
Which is both amazing and terrible at the same time. I don't think I would want to see Hidden do a Star Wars movie.
You know what I forgot to talk about with Kylo Ren? Is that kick-ass fight scene.
With him and Rey?
Yes.
Okay,
Back
so
to back
yeah,
with all the
let's
guards.
rewind a little bit. So we see, Kylo kills Snoke. He uses the Force, and I don't know how. Also, I don't know how Snoke doesn't sense that there's a
He was
lightsaber being.
focused on Rey.
Mm-hmm. Just saying. Come on.
Can read.
He's powerful with the Force. He's not a god.
Can read minds, can connect
He
to
was
people
reading her mind.
across the
No, like
universe.
I feel you,
even
but
very strong beings can get cocky from time to time,
I get it.
and that's.
But I was just like, okay. Anyway, so that awesome thing happens that kills him, and then you're like, oh, for a moment we're like, oh my god, Kylo Ren, he's good, great, and then him and Rey team up in the most epic fight ever.
I think that has,
I was screaming.
that has got to be one of my favorite fight scenes in all of the Star Wars movies.
I have to agree
What's-
with you, and the
what's-
fact that like it was shot in like that beautiful red room with the red knights, I was like, this
What's,
is gorgeous.
What's really great about that is that for one of the first times in this entire series, the lesser fighters are not just pawns that are expendable. Like, they're actually forces to be reckoned with. And, Rey and Kylo actually destroy them, but, just kind of barely, which was cool.
That fight scene was not only beautifully choreographed, but the actual deaths were brutal.
Oh, yeah.
The dude gets thrown into like a fan or something. It's just blood.
Dude, what about when he gets Rey's lightsaber, just turns it on the guy's face?
Yeah.
That was
Like,
awesome.
for a second, and that's it. It's so cool.
That was awesome.
I think we have it for best fight sequence
We
also.
do.
Yeah.
That
Can I
got
actually
in
just
there.
say minor nitpick? It was kind of weird how the room got set on fire. I think it would have just been like fine if it was like a clean room or something.
I mean, they are very hot beams of light. Shit gets lit on fire sometimes.
I know. It was-
Also, one of my favorite moments in the movie, acting wise, was when after they destroyed them, Kylo was like, basically, join me now. And before before she even could say something, she just don't do this, please don't do this. It was such an honest moment
I just
from
like-
her. It was so well acted by Daisy Ridley.
I liked
That's
how
all.
they clear the room, and Rey sees the ships, and Rey's like, "Oh, okay, great. So you're good now. We can go save them." And he's like, "What are you talking about? I'm good now. I thought you were evil now."
That's so great.
It was, oh man. I
No, that
love
scene was that and the final were one of the best parts.
'Cause it was like they were both they were talking. They both have some sort of feeling for each other. But the thing is each of them wants the other one to cross.
You're right.
He wants her to be evil, and she wants him to come back and be good.
It's so good.
And after that fight scene and all that drama, they both instantly assume the other one is on the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
Should
So-
we go ahead?
Yeah. If we're okay with moving on, the moment that my heart actually screamed in this movie was when Yoda came.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where I cried.
Would you like to hear what I called right before we saw the movie? I said to Zach at Buffalo Wild Wings,
Cool Runnings.
I said, I bet you Yoda will come back as the Force Ghost. And wait, before we talk about how mushy and gushy it was, I was taken out of it so bad because I think whatever he was, I don't know if he was CGI or a puppet,
It
but
It was a puppet with a blue highlight.
it was ugly.
But
It was
I
so
like that it was
ugly.
a puppet.
Oh yeah, because Yoda was so fucking hot before.
No, I liked him the most in 5 and 6.
Yoda was
I
on the
j- I
cover
don't-
of GQ 1987.
No, but
As
his
the
it
sexiest
looked
man of the
it looked
year.
like bad animation.
It was a puppet of an
It
ugly
looked-
alien.
But
It
I like
looked
that it was a puppet.
terrible.
Because it being a puppet was a great homage. And when they made the prequel trilogy,
He looked-
fans flipped that Yoda
No, he was
wasn't
terrible.
a puppet in those.
But why didn't he look like a puppet
actually
then?
was in the Phantom Menace in the original theatrical cut, but in the Blu-ray
Wait,
they made him a
why didn't he look like a puppet in this movie? I don't
did look
remember
like a-
anything
But
he said because
he
I was
was-
so angry at how he
looked
looked.
too much like a puppet.
He was a puppet.
Oh my god, I think he looked like a cartoon.
He was a 100% puppet with a blue highlight.
He looked like a cartoon.
I liked it though.
I don't remember what he
I
said
liked
because I was
it.
so thrown off.
Well, he said it backwards because he's a cartoon character, basically.
I was so sorry. I just had to vent about him. Go ahead. I think his comeback was beautiful. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm glad Frank Oz voiced him again.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
That was such a powerful scene, though, because
No, it was great.
take a step back and we can kind of get started on Luke, right?
Who?
Luke's attitude for pretty much this whole movie when we're introduced to him is, fuck you, fuck off, get off my island, leave me alone.
Right.
Okay. Luke Skywalker is the greatest Jedi, and it doesn't make sense that he is just a crotchety old bastard when
It makes total sense.
he's the one that redeemed Darth Vader. If he wasn't like the nicest dude in the world, how could he redeem the baddest dude in the world? And he just kind of gives up after he has like a moment of weakness with Ben Solo.
Well,
I think that was really well done. That whole backstory, and I
Luke
get
had
why
a-
he was like
All right,
that.
so let me read to you what Ryan Johnson said about this.
please.
So that leads you down a really specific path in terms of where his head is at. And if he's done that, and if he's made this huge Herculean effort to pull himself out of the fight and hide in, like he says, the most unfindable place in the galaxy, and it took an entire movie of the most epic heroes, smartest people in the galaxy to even find him, he's put himself away for a reason. Then some kid shows up that he doesn't even know and shoves that thing that is everything that he has made this huge effort to step away from into his face with this look in her eyes of expectation like, here you go, and what is he going to do? Take it and say, great, let's go save the galaxy? He's made the choice. He's there for a reason. I knew it was going to be shocking, but I did it because it felt like, obviously it's a dramatic expression of it, but it's an expression of honestly the way that he is going to react to that moment. He hid himself for a reason because he fucked up. He's responsible for what's revealed to be the whole Knights of Ren, not just Kylo Ren.
And also eventually we find he. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you want that too, but it all contributes to him saying, fuck this. People are like, why didn't he have the green lightsaber? He probably ditched that shit. He
Yeah.
wants to stay away from it all as possible. Even when he finally is convinced to train Rey, he doesn't even train her. He gives her this fucking spark notes. He literally says, I'm going to give you 3 lessons and then you're going to understand why this is a crock of shit.
You'd think the guy who redeemed the baddest motherfucker in the universe, though, would try to make up for his mistake instead of running away from his problems.
That's a much bigger
I don't know,
talk.
man. You try to train an entire order of Jedi and then lose it all to your nephew.
See, I
But your
feel
nephew's
for
not
Luke. I
because
get it.
You tried to kill him.
I get why he's in isolation. I actually really like that he
like-
is there the whole time. I love that.
Like
But Ryan Johnson's explanation makes perfect sense.
I agree.
what he did was
I
a
like that.
profoundly human thing to do. Like, even if you are the nicest guy in the universe, your soul crushing has a point.
I mean, I get it. That's why I've had to kind of just, like, sit on this the last couple of days since I saw the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm less mad about it after seeing it. Like, when I walked out of that theater, I was just kind of like,
You were
He
pissed.
rage quit.
but yeah.
Like, you had built video games for school, right?
Uh-huh.
Could you imagine like being like 90% done with a video game and all of a sudden it's all erased?
Yeah.
Yeah,
be
sure.
pretty
Some
pissed.
people may start over from scrap one.
No,
but
I mean-
a lot of people would say, "Fuck this! I'm not doing it again."
That's what I'm trying to
Everyone has
say.
a line.
Yeah.
His was a great line, and it took a very large amount of failure to reach it, but it was reached.
Yeah,
and it was
And it was well told.
flown
He
past.
just wants to live out the rest of his days alone, eating fish and drinking that weird green milk.
Was it not?
That was
People
re-
are saying
that
it's
was
green
so
milk.
funny.
Why is it not? Is it not blue?
It
I
looked-
figured
Because
that's
the
where
blue
the.
milk is Banta milk from Tatooine, bruh.
Oh,
It
okay.
honestly
the
looked
green milk.
It looked great to me, not gonna lie, but that's just my vision.
Can I say a missed scene? I'm really mad that we didn't get to see his reaction to Han Solo dying. I think that was a missed scene that they could have recorded.
So the way I took it and the way I read it was that because he cut himself off from the Force, he didn't realize that Han had died.
No, because obviously he
Well-
didn't know until that Rey tells him, but I wish we could have seen Rey telling him.
He was also there to die. He had essentially considered everyone else dead to him already, so he had accepted.
But he was obviously affected by that.
Sure.
It was shown that he was affected, but I wish that I
sure.
could have seen
Sure.
it.
He has a reaction. Maybe it's not the best reaction, but when he sees Chewie, he goes, "Wait, where's Han?" And
No, I
think
know.
they, like, give him a sad look or something. He's like, "Oh, fuck."
But I think it was just a missed thing that they could have done.
But certainly,
I get what they did. And, like, I get, like, yes, we saw his reaction, but I wish that it was literally, like, I wanted to see it, like, completely hit him, have the words hit him.
circling all the way back to Yoda, though, that's why I love that scene with Yoda so much. Because it wasn't just like Yoda shows up and Luke's character is redeemed necessarily. Yoda shows up when Luke's about to burn down the tree with the original Jedi text.
Could you actually expand on the Force tree? Because I haven't really gone into that on the internet.
It was
too
more
much.
just like a very small library.
Yeah, but
But the
there's
tree is
something.
actually, the tree is apparently actually Force sensitive.
Well, yeah,
And that's something you touch upon in the Clone Wars. Is there's Force sensitive trees? I can't get any more into it than that because I haven't watched Clone Wars. But
I actually haven't either, but I heard it's good.
I heard
I
it's
heard
good
it takes
after,
a
like,
season.
4
Yeah.
or something.
The cartoon there's a cartoon Clone Wars. Both
Yeah.
season 1 and 2 are fantastic. I can't really speak as much to the 3D one though.
I'm interested because my boy James Arnold Taylor voices Obi-Wan.
And
I love him.
the guy that did Samurai Jack did the cartoon
Phil
ones.
Lamar.
Phil Lamar?
Or the creator.
Yeah, the creator.
Oh,
but-
Jendy Tartovsky.
Yeah,
Bless you.
he made it, but Phil Lamar's in it too.
Okay. Of course he is, because he's Phil Lamar. He's in everything.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. Is like you have this sacred Force sensitive tree, and inside that tree are like the original old
Jedi
probably
texts.
probably from like the old Republic days.
Yeah.
And Luke's like really ready to say fuck it and burn it all down. And when Yoda shows up, Yoda doesn't try and stop him.
He does it.
Yoda does it for him.
Bring down the thunder.
Yoda's like, "You want to burn it? All right, here you go. Bam."
They don't
Fucking
matter.
gone.
They don't matter.
Which plot twist?
I'm also pretty sure
Ray
he
has the books in the Falcon at the end.
And
Yeah,
there's no way
she
Yoda
sure did.
didn't know that. Too.
Yoda knew that for sure.
Obviously.
But Luke, like, that's really where Luke himself has a lot of character progression. Is Luke's freaking out, and he's like, I failed, and Yoda says sometimes failure is the greatest teacher of all.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really powerful moment.
And yeah, my heart screamed the moment he stepped on screen. It was crazy for me.
Yeah, it was
Luke did fail,
nostalgic.
but that's okay. People fuck up.
Another nostalgic moment when they played Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi or My Only Hope.
Yes.
I had
Yes, man.
that was one of the moments that really got me, and it was that was what made him say, "I will train you these 3 lessons." That was the thing, and I was like, "Oh, damn you, well done!" Like, good job. And then like
Does
with
anyone want to go see this again after we're done recording?
maybe, but they didn't beat you over the head with it like they did in Force Awakens, which I liked Force Awakens better. But
Whoa.
I'm being honest. But it was such a good. Like if anything could get him to go back, I can't think of anything that would have done it more justice than what they did.
See,
It
and
was
this
so
was-
beautifully well done.
This was a conversation that we had too, because both Force Awakens and this movie have homages, right?
Sure.
But the problem with The Force Awakens, because there hadn't been a Star Wars movie in a long time and the prequel kind of left a bad taste in our mouth, the homages in that movie were like, hey, remember the Millennium Falcon? You loved the Millennium Falcon. Remember this Jedi training ball? You loved that.
The chess game.
Remember the chess game? You loved the chess
Yeah.
game. This is more like using things from the original trilogy that evoke actual emotion, like the Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi thing, like Yoda.
I don't disagree with
like
you.
the very end.
That's
Should
why
we
I'm-
get into that?
That's why I'm worried about JJ taking another crack at this.
They asked him to do this one.
I know they did, and I'm glad it went to Ryan. I was never scared for this movie because of Ryan being on the helm. I'm scared for 9 because of JJ. Because I was scared for Force Awakens. I was terrified. I ended up really loving the movie, but I think it's still inferior to the original trilogy.
I'm so glad you knew about the mystery box though. Like the second I mentioned that, you're just like, yeah.
Because this is gonna sound super douchey, and I
Any
know
questions?
a lot of things I say sound super douchey. But J.J. Abrams to me makes movies, and Ryan Johnson makes films.
Sure.
Okay.
I would consider that to be true of this movie
Just compared
compared to the two.
yeah, just
But I like
compared
Force
to-
Awakens better. But I would consider this a piece of like film as opposed to like a movie.
Go.
So the last scene, which I have called.
Okay.
Oh,
So
wait. Let's before you get into what happens to him, let's talk about the battle between Luke and Kylo,
Go for it.
because then we'll get to that because it leads into it, right? So we see Luke.
Oh wait. So sorry. Before that, should we get into the?
Does that happen right before?
We've
Yeah.
we've kind of skipped a lot of stuff though. I
It's
think we
okay,
might have
we're-
to
I
go
was
back.
kind of
doing
going
Star
by
Wars.
character,
I
but
feel
now
like
I
we're
feel
still
like
going to be here for a while, to be honest.
So there's
this is season finale. Enjoy.
so there's a moment. Would anyone like Mike? Why don't you explain it?
Okay.
That was
They
so
they do
good.
something so cool in this movie, but it completely breaks everything that we know
Shut up.
about how stuff in Star Wars works. But basically, all the resistance escapes on these like smaller ships as they go down to the planet Crate.
Because it can't be tracked.
And I'm sorry, what's her name?
Admiral Holdo.
Holdo,
Or
something like
Vice
that.
Admiral Holdo or
She
something.
she stays behind on the ship. She spins it around to face Snoke's ship, and then she punches that shit into light speed, and it just goes. And there's
And
no
the-
sound.
there's-
The
Oh.
visuals
Only-
on it were
Yeah, it was so cool.
amazing.
But now here's the
And the fact
problem.
that there was no sound made it.
the
Yeah,
only
that was
sound
something.
in that theater when that happened was me saying, "Oh shit!"
For
Yeah, and
like,
everyone else.
That had the same effect for me, kind of like in Clone Wars. You remember Jango Fett's bombs that he sets off in the
those were
Astrofield?
cool as hell. This was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'm just saying it like evokes the same ideas to me. But so here's the problem that I've been reading about online is that people are saying, well, why don't they just do that to the Death Star? Why don't they do that to the second Death Star? Why didn't they do that to the Starkiller base? It opens up way bigger problems for the rest of the universe than I think they
anyone
expected.
Thought of that before this.
And I'm gonna give the bullshit argument, which I know it's the only argument I got.
Also, the Death Star is so much bigger than all the ships that this destroyed.
But you can't
It
just
might not
for
destroy
the
it,
rebels.
yeah.
You can't just be like sacrificing these ships left and right like that.
But robots, they have robots.
It's not about the robots. You can sacrifice robots. It's about sacrificing that whole ship.
Which also, if you want to talk about these ships being a big deal, let me just bring you back to Snoke. How did he create the First Order with like tons and tons of armies and fleets and starships and all
You gotta
of
wait
that?
for Snoke Origins, the monthly series from Marvel.
I'm gonna actually need to read that because
No, that's a
I
joke.
need
That,
it.
that's not
That's a
announced. I'm
joke.
just guessing.
no, I know. I'm saying I'm gonna need to read that if that is a thing.
I bet it will be. It has to be.
So I've been
Unless Ryan Johnson's trilogy that he's making is all about Snoke.
Can you imagine?
I've been doing nothing but raving about this movie. It's my favorite movie of 2017. So I might as well go ahead and talk about the couple of flaws I found, because no movie's perfect. This is not a perfect
Do you want to
movie.
talk about the end before we get into flaws, or
No, we got more of the
because I
movie
only
to
have a
cover.
couple.
okay?
I
Go.
only have a couple. This movie is great for women, the advancement of female characters,
Okay.
unless you're Lupita Nyong'o or Gwendolyn Christie, because Maz Kanata and
What a
Captain
throwaway!
Phasma were,
What a throwaway!
were both deserved better, I think, and didn't get better. I think Phasma got less to do in this movie than she did in the last one.
It was such a
She-
throwaway.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad she had a nice fight scene that lasted about 2 seconds.
Literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't enough. And I
agree.
So as you guys know, this is about that. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of the Weekly Planet, right?
yes.
And they brought up a good point. I hope in episode 9 they bring Phasma back again, just for another 3-minute fight scene.
But here's the
so
thing.
every movie she's just killed in some obscure fucking wasted way.
Here's
That'd
the
be really
thing. I
funny.
think they will bring her back because she survived being thrown into a trash compactor on a planet that exploded in Force Awakens.
It's true.
She
And
should just be like Kenny
I'm pretty
from South
sure-
Park
I'm pretty sure she'll be fine falling down a couple stories on a Star Destroyer.
I think it,
on
like
fire.
her helmet was open, so she'd have a scar or something.
That makes me feel
Right.
like she'll come back and she'll have a wicked black scar.
She's
on
the new
her face
Snoke.
because of that helmet breach. You know what I mean? So I don't think we've seen the last of Phasma either, and I do hope that Maz Kanata actually has a bigger point in all of this in the next movie, because I love me some Lupita Nyong'o. I love her voiceover work in this movie. I'm not too happy that she just does voiceover, but I'm happy that she does a great job. So I need more for those characters in the future. That's
And
all
I'm going to
saying.
need to know how she got that lightsaber. Continue.
I don't
Yes,
excessively
me too.
care about Mas Kanata, honestly, as a character, but
Oh,
not
I'm
even-
fascinated by her.
I think there's a lot to her that we don't get. It's mostly Lupita that I give a crap about. I want her to do more.
What were your other nitpicky?
yeah. Other flaws.
Honestly, those were my two real big ones.
Uh-huh.
I think I've got to stew a little bit before I get into real nitpick territory because those were just the two that I
Which
felt
thing
like
of Rose?
needed. Oh, I loved her. I loved
I actually really loved her, too.
I love that I've never seen this actress before. I said to myself, okay, this is a new person. I learned about her casting at the same time everybody else did. They would not have put her in a Star Wars movie unless there was something special about her. So I'm very interested to see what she does. And like, okay, I get it. This is a very special actress here, and she brought something really cool and new to the table.
Finn and Rose romance.
I like that.
What an awkward kiss.
That is so me. That is so.
No, but it
every
literally
first kiss
looked
I've
like
ever
two
had.
first graders, and it was so awkward.
And so adorable. There's no way either of them have ever had a kiss before.
He probably doesn't even know what a kiss is.
He didn't even know. He didn't even have a name for the first 20 years.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was great. That was cute.
She's up for best actress in supporting role, actually.
You know, maybe
Kelly
that's
Marie
how
Tran.
Stormtroopers do it like the Spartan Warriors.
I think.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Get out. The movie.
One thing we haven't mentioned at all is Benicio del Toro.
I was kind of annoyed by his character. Like, his
I was annoyed by that
character
whole
wasn't
plot,
pointless.
so...
His character wasn't pointless. Like, he served...
That whole plot, though, was.
He served
Therefore,
to
he was
assist.
pointless.
Okay,
That
I'm glad you
plot-
held on to that because now we can talk about that.
I just
wanted to touch you.
The,
wasn't necessarily a fan.
here's one interesting thing about.
I was so excited about his character, too. He's wonderful. Continue.
One interesting thing about his role. Who was it first offered to? Take a wild guess.
Antonio Banderas.
No.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Did you... Wow.
No, that was actually a guess.
Joaquin Phoenix is like the Guillermo del Toro of acting in that he's supposed to do a bunch of stuff and never fucking does it. Never does it.
As far as characters that don't have a huge meaning to the entire overarching plot of Star Wars, I liked him. I thought he was fun. He brought something again very new to the table that we haven't seen before.
But I don't want to
kinda
see him in
weird.
episode 9.
Probably not. I probably wouldn't want to see him in episode 9 either.
He did his part justice.
I think he did all he needed to do here, and
I agree.
It was fun.
It was a fun cameo.
It was
kinda
it
felt
was
like.
it was a fun
For
cameo,
him,
and it served
yeah.
to move things forward a little.
But
bit.
again, it didn't move anything forward besides seeing the betrayal, which was cool.
Well, yeah,
but
they
like,
got their code breaker. They got through, and
but they didn't need a code breaker. They didn't need to
Well,
do
yeah.
any of those
Well, of
things.
course, they needed a code breaker. Otherwise, they
To do
wouldn't-
what?
To break the shield.
To break the hyperspace tracking.
The hyperspace tracking and the shield of the.
Just
Nothing
because
would
their
have mattered.
plan didn't pan out doesn't mean there wasn't a point to the plan.
But it had no, like, they
Up
don't...
until Holdo
Like, yeah, and-
kamikazes, that plan made perfect sense.
Their transport ship was going to run out of fuel before they got to that planet. And
Okay.
they were also being tracked. If they got on their smaller ships to get to that planet, they had a less likelihood of being tracked, which is the whole point of that plan.
Continuing off of that, though, can I just say, like, how much shit they could have avoided if Holdo had just told Poe what her plan was? Why did she not? What did she gain?
Genuine
Because
question.
she was
I agree.
a human, and she was flawed, and she was wrong.
But no,
I-
she straight up
I
lied
think,
to him.
I think
Yeah.
the only reason she doesn't tell him is because of his demotion.
Possibly, yeah.
That's it.
But, human characters make mistakes.
He's just like... He
And-
calls
But there's
her
no
out.
reason to not
Yeah.
tell him or anyone.
was
There was no,
demoted.
but there was
Yeah.
no secret. Why was it a secret?
There would have been no
'Cause he needs
mutiny.
Security level 8.
No, seriously. Why was it a secret?
I related to it a bit because I've been in places of power directing movies and online shows where I've made mistakes and I've withheld information from people
Totally.
when I shouldn't. That's what I think was happening here. She
So
was
you
the
don't
first-
think it was a secret?
I think it was, but
But why? That's my thing.
Because
why was it a secret?
She thought it was the best thing to do because she didn't quite trust him yet. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do. I thought, from her perspective, that was the right thing to do because she was an inexperienced leader.
They would have found out eventually, though.
Right.
It's not like they weren't going to get
I'm
on
not
their
saying
ships.
it's not a flaw. I'm saying it was written as a flaw on purpose.
It causes so many problems.
Yes, it
though.
does.
But
As does-
but not in
As
a good
does
way.
Poe's decision in the whole first act, which kills a very large portion of the rebels. That doesn't help a lot.
But that moves the plot forward.
Yes, it does.
And he doesn't lie about it either. Like,
No,
they know what he's
There was just
doing.
No,
no
he
reason for her to lie and not tell anyone.
From her
Besides, it was a movie. That is the only reason.
From her perspective, there was a reason.
What?
Because she thought it was the right thing to do. She was a flawed leader who thought it was the right thing to
Does
do.
anybody else
It's a
think...
mistake, obviously, but she made it.
You guys are
as a
in like
human.
this vicious fucking circle.
Does anybody else think that he got stunned because he was mansplaining what was going on?
No, I don't.
So the final battle.
Oh yeah, and we had to go to that planet so we could see the little kid with the Force at the end of the movie there, and I think that's going to be a big part of episode 9 there.
That's great, but they also could have not done that and just had a kid do it at a random planet. I would have been fine with that.
I wouldn't have. I wanted.
There might be a kid on their ship for all we know.
Let's go ahead and do what you were going to say.
I mean, someone else can describe the Battle of Crate. if
The
they want.
final battle?
So we see Luke come back looking
No,
a little.
you gotta go before that. Explain like the setup, man.
Before we finish this podcast, I do want to
So-
talk about the opening scene because I thought that was really neat.
So here's the setup. There's a planet, and it's called Crate. But if you look at the Wikipedia, there's like 20 other things named Crate on the Wikipedia with a slightly different spelling. You got your Crate gems, you got your Crate battle, you got
Minecraft?
your Darth Crate, who's a huge character, by the way. Lots of things called Crate.
So the planet Crate has about 30 Resistance members left, and Kylo Ren comes down with a shit ton
Everyone.
of firepower and ships and everything, and the Resistance is flipping out, going, "What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?" And then Luke shows up.
With like a nice little haircut. He looks
He's
good.
all trimmed up.
Yeah, and then we
Got
see
the
this
silver fox thing going on.
and we see this beautiful moment between him and Leia, which brought everyone's
That's where he hands her the dice.
which was a
Yeah.
beautiful moment and brought
And
everyone
by the
to
way,
tears.
Carrie Fisher wrote that scene.
Right.
She wrote a lot of Leia dialogue.
I was gonna say,
in this
didn't she
movie.
write most of her lines?
She has had a lot of experience over the years as a script doctor and a script super, and you know, directors have brought her on to help with dialogue because she's incredibly smart, incredibly witty. And Rian Johnson used her a lot with this movie.
Right.
So coming into this movie, I told Max, my theory was
This is mega spoiler, by the way. If you are just joining us,
We're
this is
already
a
there.
huge spoiler.
We've
I'm
been
just
there for an hour.
in case you just joined us. Go ahead.
Kylo Ren. My theory was Kylo Ren. Luke was gonna not fight Kylo Ren, and he was gonna tell Kylo Ren, a la Obi-Wan, "If you strike me down now, I will become more powerful
Right.
than you could ever imagine." And Kylo Ren would kill Luke, for Luke to come back in 9 as a Force ghost. I was about 50%
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because Luke shows up, and Kylo Ren throws a temper tantrum as he does,
Which was so funny.
shoots all the lasers at Luke.
Wait. Going into I was gonna say so he gets like all of the gunpowder. He keeps saying more, and you see like his fist like clenching up and just keeps screaming. And then Hux comes and says, "That's enough." And then like the clouds like dissipate, and then you just like see Luke like walk forward, and he just does this.
That was an applause moment.
Heck yeah.
That was great.
Big time.
And now it makes sense how he did that. But continue.
So
That was
Kylo Ren
so
comes down.
good. He's like, "No, I'm gonna fight him."
The dialogue exchange between those two, although slightly funny, was the best because Luke was such a fuck you character.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren says, "Did you come here to change my mind and save me?" And he goes, "No."
None of what you just said is
Alright,
true.
Everything that you just said
Right.
was wrong.
Oh, you've been saying that to me recently.
I love that line.
You say that to Zach all the time.
I put a better twist on it by stealing from a better movie.
You guys.
So Kylo tries to fight Luke, and
Luke does a Matrix move,
Luke does a Matrix move, and,
which you didn't like.
and then he paraphrases a line. Kylo Ren says something like, "I'm gonna kill you," and he says, if you strike me down with hatred, I'm gonna be with you forever, just like your father." And Kylo Ren gets pissed off and slashes right through him.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't die.
Because he's projected.
Well, can you... I
It
mean,
was
if
all
you-
a force projection,
All force projection.
Yeah.
So
which
the
I had
Resistance
no.
can
Did
escape.
you? I assumed that was his death,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yes, he died.
No, but I assumed like
But,
going through him, that
Yeah,
was the death,
That was.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I was like...
I feel like I could be absolutely wrong about this, and I'm fine if I am. Just the amount of power that it took to force project to that planet that far away, actually.
No, that is what killed him.
Yeah.
No. But I'm saying
For sure.
in the moment when Kylo Ren ran through him, I thought that was his death, and we weren't going to see his body. I thought that was his
Yes,
death.
especially the line of, if you strike me down and be with you forever like your father. That's loosely almost exactly what Obi-Wan says
Right.
to Vader.
It's
if
a
you
pretty-
strike me down now, I'll be more powerful than you could ever imagine.
It's a pretty powerful line, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we eventually find out that it wasn't really Luke in the flesh. He was doing it all via
was stalling.
force projection
And then he's
and stalling for the Resistance, who found a back way out.
And then we have that moment, the callback to the first movie, where he looks at the suns and oh god.
I didn't notice
Award.
the Fields Award.
Fields Award for the two sons.
So,
If that doesn't win,
They need-
I have no faith in our fans.
But even the bitch fest between Luke and Kylo Ren, Kylo Ren says, "You will be the last Jedi," and Luke says, "I will never be the last Jedi." Again, that's the whole point of the movie.
Which I loved.
Because even if Luke dies, you have Rey, and even if Rey died for some reason, there's always gonna be someone else.
That little boy.
You don't need to be someone special or be a Kenobi or a Skywalker or a Vader, or whatever. It could be anyone.
So, I was talking to Brett about this in depth, and he was just like, I think what he was saying is I don't like that. I don't like that anyone can be it. That just it felt like the end of everything in a bad way. That just they just closed off everything and everything. They just literally threw it all away and said, nope, nothing else matters. I mean, Kylo has a great line that says, let the past die, which
Yeah.
you could also say is maybe let the other movies die. But my question, I disagree with him. I think that was a really cool thing that anyone can be a Jedi. That not anyone, but there will always be someone. I loved that. Do you guys think? Do you like that? That basically anyone could be a Sky or anyone could be a Jedi. Do you like
so
that?
we could go in really deep. And
Going in deep.
And even look at that as a theme. Kylo wants to get rid of the old and bring in the new. Luke's whole point, or I guess the epiphany that Luke has with there always being a Jedi, is that tradition continues no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if you get rid of the tree, even if you get rid of the books, even if you get rid of Luke Skywalker, the Jedi tradition will still continue. There will always be hope.
Yeah, no, and I mean that follows through from literally A New Hope,
but there won't be Jedi in the traditional sense, like we have come to know.
through
There's-
blood.
Well, yeah, but there's no Sith anymore. I doubt anybody would even know how to follow their traditions. So there's going to be a new line of evil side Jedi or Force users, but it's not going to be Sith.
Well, we already have the Knights of Ren.
Yeah, but it's different. They're not Sith.
Right.
Actually, we were talking about this because they're all something Ren. Ben Solo is Kylo Ren, and the other ones are probably
Something.
James Ren.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Trick.
there's no more Darths. There's no more
Shlomo Ren.
Shlomo Ren. There's nobody following the rule of two anymore. The Master and the
Yes.
Apprentice.
And one has to kill the other before the other one kills the other one.
I mean, Kylo
Is that better?
or Ben Solo would probably take an apprentice, but not in the same way that we've come to know the Sith doing it.
But if you look at even current canon and previous extended what are now legends, it's literally Sith dogma of there can only be two. Yoda even says in episode 1, no more, no less. And what that means is if you look at some of it, at one point Count Dooku got an apprentice and was training his apprentice just to kill the Emperor. And vice versa, the Emperor wanted to kill Count Dooku to take on Anakin as his apprentice. Being the Sith is a fucked up game. Because either you kill your master or he's going to kill you.
That's why Darth Krayt made the rule of one, but I guess I can't really get into that.
I downloaded Knights of the Old Republic. I'm going to play it tonight,
Okay.
probably.
No, he's not in that, but that's a good play, though.
The Knights of Ren is basically 7 Sith Lords.
We don't know that for sure, though.
What do we know? We know there's 7 of them. We know that they're all former students of Luke's that Kylo Ren ran off with. We know that they're all under Snoke.
We don't know that for sure. Maybe some have defected from Snoke, doing their own thing. they're not for sure all evil either. That's like, I
They
mean,
were
that's why
at-
I want to see
They
them.
were at one point, I would say.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, but we don't know.
We
What they're
know
doing.
nothing about them,
As
honestly.
much as I hate to theorize about future movies, I'm pretty sure that one of the ways they're going to deal with the fact that we don't have Carrie Fisher anymore is that they're going to do a time jump
Well,
in
they
the future.
filmed enough of her for the 9th movie, right? At least that's
No.
what I've
No,
heard.
they filmed 0% of her for the 9th movie because that movie has yet to go into production.
Do you think we'll get Luke in episode
Okay, never
9?
mind.
Yeah.
I think it's likely.
I'd be shocked
think
if it wasn't
if-
a Force Ghost.
I think if we do, it's going to be kept secret until we see it.
You know,
Unless
Mark
they-
Hamill's just gonna, like, troll us all. It's gonna be
You
great.
bet he is, because there was a really
the
cute
best.
interview where he was talking about Rey. He goes, yeah, you know, and she's my my companion.
I know. I saw that. It's so good. He's so rude.
I love him so much, and I love how he beat the shit out of Ted Cruz with his own words on Twitter recently.
He
That's
is
true.
so funny.
And
What do you think, Mike? Luke in episode 9?
I mean, I'd love to see that, but they could also miss their shot with that, a la the way they did with Qui-Gon in Attack of the Clones.
which is great as fuck, Qui-Gon.
Why didn't
Yo,
never
I
do that?
Wait, whoa,
love
whoa.
Qui-Gon.
He's the first Force Ghost, though. He's the one that,
Really?
Basically
Where was
made
he?
because he was, Liam Neeson was sick when they were filming it, and George Lucas is a douchebag and was just like, forget about it.
Really? Is that really the story?
Yeah, George Lucas is the guy that, like, I mean, people like to say he ruined Star Wars.
That's ironic.
He ruined 3 Star Wars movies, and he keeps trying to ruin his original movies by putting shit in them. But
Like Hayden Christensen at the end of Return of the Jedi.
the special
That
edition of Return of the
Fucking
Jedi
made me
is
furious.
the special edition Return of the Jedi is nigh unwatchable. I will never watch that again.
Why?
I like
Why would he
Hayden
look like Hayden?
Christensen, Force Ghost.
Why would he look like Hayden Christensen? He's old now.
It's
Like,
it's an
what's up with
insult. It's an insult to Sebastian Shaw, who has a great cameo in Return of the Jedi as
Right.
Anakin.
I mean, it does like it just makes it's logically it's
Because
just
that's what
weird.
he looked like when he died.
Yeah.
thing is-
When he was like good.
Think about
Yeah,
think about a
exactly.
new
I get
Hope.
it, but like I was so mad about it.
Think about A New Hope. If George Lucas had 100% control of that thing, it would not be good. A New Hope is the result of several people telling him no at the right places, and also a couple of really weird mistakes.
There is a comic book called The Star Wars, and it's George Lucas's original screenplay turned into a graphic novel,
Yeah,
and it is so weird.
It
and
is so weird.
interesting.
I've read that shit. It's so weird.
Oh man,
And then there's the original. There's the book of Star Wars that George Lucas wrote.
is that also the original screenplay or?
A lot of it is, it's more or less a novelization of the first one, but George Lucas had all the input in it. So yeah, there's stuff that wasn't in the movie.
Can I talk about something? Again, I think it's because I just didn't like this whole plot with that whole thing. I just didn't care about Finn.
Oh really?
And he was like one of my favorites in in the Force Awakens, but maybe it's because like he was. I mean, acting wise, he was fantastic. I actually thought that he was gonna die at the end. I thought that was so cool, and then Rose saves him.
It cut it super close.
That was really cool.
I would
But like, I just
argue-
didn't care about him the whole movie. And anytime we were watching Luke and Rey, I was like, that's what I want to watch. And every time we cut, I'm like, I don't want to see them right now. I just don't
Yeah.
care.
I would argue that he gets the least character progression, but I still think he gets some character progression.
Of course.
In the beginning, he's trying to run away, and everyone looks at him like this big hero. And by the end, he kind of becomes that hero that everyone thought he was.
Right.
I think he's a fantastic character, but this movie kind of just misses its chance to show how cool he can be.
I agree.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Lincoln's been doing a lot of private screenings of Star Wars. Super rich companies buying out full theater rooms, and
Same.
there was one company. It's an accounting firm.
Same.
It's an accounting firm. They are like bleeding money from every orifice because they didn't just have the screening. They had pizza for everybody, and they had their own drinks. And for kids, they had little toys of every character in the movie. And while I'm helping them set up, the vice president was there, and she was looking at me, look at the toys, and I'm just like,
Pence was there?
Just don't do it. Just don't even look at the toys. And like she saw my nerd heart breaking, so she snuck a little toy for me, and I got Finn in his Imperial costume.
That's awesome.
It's
You're like,
no,
damn, you got me the
it's
wrong
not a
one.
Funko. It's not a Funko Pop. These are little custom made tiny
Oh, that's
figurines.
dope. That's dope.
And that was really cool. So
Nice.
yeah, I have a little Imperial Finn.
Did you guys see that people are pissed off about the like, was it like $30 or $40 deluxe Snoke action figure? People are like, who wants
There's like a teddy bear of him now.
Who wants this now?
I would put it next to my Gollum statue.
It's like a Funko Pops when they have like LeBron James as in the Miami Heat. I'm like, oh well, that's a miss.
Awkward.
Right.
Oh fuck.
Um.
Oh, it's gonna be so funny watching people complain about this movie.
Okay. Wait. Also, just moving forward because it's fun to theorize things.
Yes.
How do you think? You kind of mentioned it for a second. How do you think they're gonna deal with Carrie Fisher and Princess Leia?
My only theory is a time jump forward. That's it. I don't.
And in that it says like in the credits kind of thing like
No, I don't think they'll talk about it in the opening crawl. I think
I think there'll be a slight line that's mentioned like, oh, well, you know, Leia stepped down from being general. She's retired on the beach somewhere.
no, they have to kill her.
Off the top of my
No.
head right now, well, yeah, they're gonna.
They have to kill her.
You already killed
In
Luke
all the
and
new
Han.
trilogies,
You can't...
in all of this new trilogy,
I would be
each-
mad
Each
if they
film
didn't.
kills an original member.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
they have to kill
I think
her.
that'd be
Off the
such
top
bad
of my
taste.
head,
What?
right
She's gonna
now-
just go to Tatooine and just like be with the sand people?
Yeah, man, she's chilling on the beach in that slave bikini still.
Shut up.
Oh god. Off the top of my head right now, the only thing I can come up with is that it'll be a lot like Luke's failure with Ben Solo, in that Rey will have failed to protect Princess Leia at some point, and that's why she's off doing something at the beginning of that movie. I don't know.
Rey is.
Everybody remember this for 2019, because we are going to place your episode 9 bets now. And when episode 9 comes back, we're going to go back and we're going to rewatch this episode. Place all your bets. Now we're sealing this in the vault.
We'll see what happens.
I'm throwing you guys a bone here by theorizing about episode 9, because this is not something I do. This is the only time I will ever do this.
That's fine. It's the last episode. It's your last episode. This is
So,
last episode.
I will not be throwing in my
Think of it like a time capsule.
Yeah.
We're going to dig it up in 2019.
I think that they're going to win bronze at the next Olympics when they do Cool Runnings 3 in Star Wars.
Okay.
Because, I think that's a good way to end the
Yeah.
trilogy. Because they won gold in this movie.
right.
With, when they did Cool Runnings 2 in
Right.
Star Wars.
Right.
But
John
I think-
Candy came
But I
back.
think when episode 9, Cool Runnings 3
Right.
comes out, it's going to be a bronze. And yeah, John Candy will be there for some reason. Steve Buscemi will
He'll come
be
back
there.
as Barf from Spaceballs.
And Sally Field will also make a cameo in Star Wars Episode 9, Cool Runnings 3.
R.I.P. John Candy.
All right, Mike, your episode 9 guesses for the time capsule.
I don't know. Force Ghost Luke, I
Okay.
guess. I don't know. Like it's really so up in the air. That's why like going into The Last Jedi, I was just like I have no expectations because I don't have
Do you
anything to go
think-
off of.
Do you think we'll see the Knights of Ren?
I would like to see the
possible.
Knights of Ren.
It's possible,
Do
yeah.
you think that Rey will have some sort of backup Jedi somehow?
I think she.
Well, she'll have some sort of what?
Oh,
Like some sort of other Jedi character, I don't know.
I've got one. I've got one for the time capsule here.
Alright.
So, it's a pretty well-known fact that a part of Jedi's training is that they have to make their own lightsaber.
Ooh.
Lightsaber.
I feel like she's actually going to make a lightsaber out of her stick. And like
Dual
have it be
blade
like a spear,
or something?
like a
Oh, that'd be
spear
like
lightsaber.
One.
Yeah, I think she's gonna like either
That'd be
take
tight.
Luke's
I can see
kyber
that.
crystal and put it in her stick, or like get a new kyber crystal and put it in the spear, make it like a spear lightsaber. I think that might be kind of cool.
I actually really like that. It doesn't make sense that she uses like a sword, but
It's
her
like she will
uses
have to
a bow
create her
staff
own
usually.
lightsaber in order to be a Jedi. That's like a step that no one can skip. So
Are they gonna make her parentage the same? Are they gonna, or is JJ gonna be like, we're gonna make her Kenobi?
I don't want them to change it. I want a little more of it. Like a little-
I hope they don't. Even though like that was my biggest thing, I hope they don't.
I hope
Stick to
they-
what you did
I don't want them to
I-
change
because it was
it.
right. I was just
Just expand. Don't
Yeah.
change. Expand.
I
Exactly,
hope
I agree.
They don't, but I hope if for some reason they do, I hope maybe this is just strictly for the Kenobi theory, but I hope it's like your parents were nothing, but your grandparents.
I mean, like, sure, but no. I hope they stick to what
Yeah.
Ryan
To
Johnson
me,
said.
To me, that would be better though than like Kylo Ren was straight up lying and your dad's Luke Skywalker.
By the way.
Can you imagine?
Oh, that would piss me off.
I would
know.
be so mad.
By the way.
I think I'd actually roll my eyes in the theater if that happened.
I got a few different texts saying like, I was so pissed that Rey's not a Skywalker or a Solo. Like, stop it. Stop talking to me.
And that's why I was mad at myself. Because I was really upset about it. But again, I need to go see it again. So I'm like, no, this is absolutely fine. And I actually like the way they tied it all up. That like anyone can be a Jedi kind of thing. I loved that. I hope they don't back down of that is who she is. That's it.
Do you think?
It's just stick like that.
Do we think Ben will turn to the light side?
Yes.
I don't want him to. I don't want him to. I don't know if he will. I don't want him to. The conflict can always be there, but I don't want him ultimately to turn.
I would be pretty shocked if he didn't.
My whole thing is like,
I don't know how he wouldn't.
again, with the dice and the closing the door, it's heavily implied
He burned all his bridges. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like even Lucas has said that the Star Wars movies have always been about the Skywalker family bloodline.
Right.
Ben is the only Skywalker left.
True.
Yeah, he is.
Like, purely for that reason alone, I somehow want him to carry that on or something.
Sure. Is that like the geek in you?
Yeah.
I honestly kind of want him to self-sacrifice.
But that would,
then
that
how-
would end up being good.
how do you have,
I don't know if he's gonna like
That would end up being good, but yeah, because he
in
can't,
a good way. I mean, he would be
can't-
in the good side.
He can't be good, so he has to just end it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He like
So how do you
he's
have, like-
gonna end up turning to the light by killing himself or doing something that will
That's the
make
only thing I
him
would
the
really
good.
Like, I think I don't. Really
I don't think that
him
he
to
should
do
like make a change and be like, haha, I killed this person and now I'm with you. I think it should be some sort of sacrifice, kind of like what Vader did, but not exactly like that because he did kind of kill himself by throwing
My whole
whatever.
thing is like, Disney's gonna milk Star Wars forever. So if like in 20 years we get episodes like 10, 11, and 12,
Sure.
and it has nothing to do with Skywalker's all, it would just feel so out of place for me.
Who knows? They might not even stop that train. We might get episode 12 and like or episode 10 in like 2021 or whatever.
I mean, they only just got
Fabulous. I
the
think we need a break.
property.
Oh, a break would be great. We're never going to get a break from Star Wars. They're going to do anthology movies.
I'm fine with that, but I
Start
think
anthologies,
anthology's
but I don't
fine.
want Episodes for
I think we're going to get
Episode
Wow,
9
after
needs to be the
nine.
We'll
end.
be getting a Star Wars movie every year for the conceivable future, and yeah, they might do full-on episodes after this. Who knows? I would love that. I'd love there to be an end to this. I really would, because I don't want any more bad Star Wars movies. We have 3. That's too many. I don't want there to be any more.
any last minute theories for the capsule.
No, I'm not
Expanding on my cool running skills.
All right. What do you guys think of Ryan Johnson's trilogy that he's gonna make?
I don't know.
He's making a trilogy?
Ryan-
Come on.
Like, do we know what it's about?
What?
You don't know?
We know
You
it's
didn't know this?
not-
No, he's doing his own trilogy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said it has nothing to do with the Skywalker family.
nothing to do with the Skywalker family. Nothing to do with like the episodes. It's like a separate trilogy.
That's fine. The extended universe had some of the best stories out of Star Wars.
He also said it's not a Knights of the Old Republic movie.
That's fine.
There's not going to be one of them.
That's okay. The Rakata Prime planet is officially canon, so I know somewhere out there, Knights of the Old Republic is real. It's canon.
Do you still have Jedi in it though?
Yeah, I mean, there's Jedi like thousands of years ago. The Jedi Order in the prequels wasn't anything new.
So what, you think Ryan Johnson's movies will be prequels?
Yeah, it could be literally anything.
I don't think they're going to have to do with this story.
The world is
That's-
his oyster.
That's like the biggest problem with what was it, Order 66 in Revenge of the Sith, where
Uh-huh.
they kill them all,
Right?
is because Yoda went into hiding, and then Obi-Wan went into hiding or whatever, right? But in the comics, and I was just telling Mike this, so I guess it used to be that the Sith have red lightsabers because they corrupt with dark force energy kyber crystals.
Mhm.
Or no. Originally they were synthetic. They were synthetically made kyber crystals, and that's why they were red. Now they have to corrupt it with dark force. So to become a Sith, the same way Jedi make lightsabers, now you have to steal a lightsaber. So I guess in the comics, there's a comic where Vader just became Vader, and he needs a red lightsaber. So he goes to hunt down this other Jedi that's hiding out in the wilderness that's just been like training and meditating for years and years, and Vader's like without a lightsaber, he needs to steal his lightsaber. But once you add that in, like, it's a never-ending list of just having hidden Jedi that escaped Order 66. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh, man,
unfortunately.
Order 66 pissed me off so hard.
There's a lot of them too.
You can always add, oh, well, this guy got away too. This guy was in hiding too.
Yeah,
It makes a terrible plot hole for for A New Hope.
it does.
That doesn't make any
There
sense.
was a rumor, I thought this was the coolest thing I'd ever heard of. There was a rumor that they were going to do a Star Wars
Cool Runnings
anthology
4.
film that was literally the movie Seven Samurai, but with Jedi.
Interesting.
That sounds cool as fuck.
That sounds badass.
I just want Ryan Johnson to direct Episode 9, not JJ. I just, you know what I really want? If I can't have Ryan Johnson to direct Episode 9 and it has to be someone else, I would love to see Drew Goddard take his.
What has he done?
He wrote Buffy and Angel. He wrote and directed Cabin in the Woods. He wrote The
Okay.
Martian.
That's a good movie.
Yeah,
He was going to do the
I would-
Sinister Six movie.
cool. I would love for him to do Star Wars. I really would. I think he's terrific, and
I think Tarantino. Just kidding.
like J.J. Abrams. I don't think he's a bad director. He's made some really cool movies. It's just every time it's announced that he's going to make something, I'm really scared because his bad stuff is so bad.
You never know, right?
The play that goes
Force
wrong is
Awakens
really good.
fine,
So
this will
I'm-
be fine.
I love Force Awakens, but I'm never willing to roll those dice with J.J.
I'm pretty confident, and they're gonna end it pretty.
Like
I don't know.
he's got a big responsibility here. It's like
This is the biggest movie.
This is a terrible comparison, but I'm making it. It's remember how big of a fucking responsibility Obama had to carry when he took office from George W. Bush? This is a little bit like that, except
In the movie
not-
world.
except not nearly as important.
Right.
I'm just saying.
No, this is more important.
Kind of.
God, I miss Obama.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Do we have anything else to say about this movie? I mean, I could talk about Star Wars
sure,
forever.
Sure, yeah. I think we kind of got to Porgs.
Oh, I that's meant to say it.
They're adorable and they didn't annoy me.
It was.
They're
I
like
don't
little
know.
chicken dogs.
What'd you guys think of when Chewie was about to eat it?
That was hilarious.
I mean, he already killed two of them.
Porgs are like whatever though.
Also, the
It's like,
CGI
what?
on them wasn't good.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine.
There was like that
They
one
looked
where it's
like-
like freaking out in the ship or something, and it's just like
It looked like bad CGI. I didn't have this for nominated for best CGI because it took me out.
Don't vote for it then.
I didn't.
Good.
I think I voted for Valerian.
Oh, shit.
I mean that movie looked amazing.
It looked great. It was terrible.
If you close your eyes,
If you close your eyes. Name a musical.
Rent.
Very good.
Wait, little nitpick I just forgot, and I need to get out there. The Resistance just was so incompetent. It's not even funny. Like at the beginning, they're flying those bombers towards Snoke's ship. Like, oh, I guess this is my first day piloting. Bah! Crash.
They never explained how Snoke escaped Mount Doom with the One Ring, and they never showed
I hate
it
you.
in this movie.
And then Frodo was there. It was so weird. Mr. Frodo. Sam Witwicky.
I find it hilarious that Elijah Wood and
I meant
Daniel
Sam
Radcliffe
from
have
Austin?
Yeah.
Sean Austin?
Sean
Yeah.
Astin.
Astin.
That's it.
I find it hilarious that
Astin.
Elijah Wood and Daniel Radcliffe have to deal with fans mixing them up all the time.
R.I.P. Bob.
I think I'm out of things to say
Bob
for this
movie
particular discussion.
Yeah.
And I love Carrie
Oh,
Fisher,
also
and I miss her
shout
so
out to
much.
Andy Serkis. You're
Um,
the goat of this.
Oh yeah, what do we think of Donald Gleason? He played General Hux.
He's there.
I think he's fun.
Personally, I
Evil
thought
British guy.
he often gets to play really bland characters in movies.
He's kind of comic relief in this.
But I was impressed.
In this one, he kind of was.
I was impressed by him in The Force Awakens more than I think anybody else was, and
I loved him in it. I
like-
was shocked because the last thing that I really remember him in was Harry Potter.
Also, he was really good in this movie called About Time. I loved him in The Revenant. He's kind of
Oh, he was great in The Revenant, but that
He's in a lot of movies.
he was good in Ex Machina.
Ex
I didn't like
Machina, yeah.
I actually didn't like Ex
because
Machina.
you're stupid. It's
The trailer was better than the movie.
it wasn't. And
You don't
yeah,
watch trailers.
I did. I didn't watch the trailer for Ex Machina.
It's okay. You're just wrong.
I saw them.
See, I said to other people,
Word that
you just said was wrong.
The last movie review I wrote before I start writing for the Probe again was Ex Machina.
Same, me too.
You're not gonna write for the Probe.
The Probe is gonna write for you.
Max runs the Poe.
He does.
Let's be real. Max runs his whole thing.
That's true. If he doesn't like my reviews, he's just gonna change it to whatever he liked about
To be
it.
fair,
I gave it a 5-star
Max
rating.
doesn't
Fuck
like
you.
any of my reviews, and that's what's so entertaining about this podcast.
I don't know.
Oh man, get ready for some really lengthy and douchey reviews for the Probe.
This was more of a movie,
like-
not really a film.
Exactly. If you read any of my Letterboxd reviews, because I've got about 200 of them, they are long and fucking boring and terrible.
Well, that's great. Guys, look forward to Xander's reviews. They suck.
No, I think I do a pretty
You
good
just sold
job.
yourself like, I suck, but you should read it anyway.
It's
10
just
out
that
of
when
10.
I read my own work, it's like, this is so fucking long. This is painfully
Dude, I
long.
didn't even put my nominations on Letterboxd. I'm literally like 5 stars, and I liked it.
You do it for me so I can make the fucking image.
I love to analyze movies, and it gets a little out of control sometimes. It's my thing.
I understand that. I would say, like, we've kind of talked about what's going to happen in the future. I would say let's give our nominations, but, like, the nominations are out.
Yeah, we could say what we...
What was, like, if you had to nominate for, like, 3 things?
Music! Anyway,
Okay.
Mark Hamill, first of all.
I'm sorry he didn't make the cut.
That's okay. I did not expect him to, given
That's best
you
lead
people.
actress, right?
Mark Hamill in Kingsman for best lead actress.
He was great in that.
By the way, funny note about Kingsman. In the comic, it was Mark Hamill in the comic
As the
just
actor
as
Mark
himself,
Hamill, yeah.
but they cast Mark Hamill as just a British dude. Missed
So
opportunity, I think, but whatever. And yeah, so music, Mark Hamill, and I don't know.
Would you have Carrie Fisher?
Oh yeah, I did. I put Carrie Fisher in my list,
That's what I thought.
but I'm fine with Kelly Marie Tran getting in there. She's gonna have an awesome career.
She sure is. Just like Daisy Ridley and John Boyega, like, they're blowing up.
Yeah, definitely.
Instead of nominations, I like to say what my 3 favorite parts of the movie are.
Go for it.
Do
man.
it.
That's great.
Adam Driver. I did not expect him to be as fucking cool as he was, because I was like kind of whatever about him in Force Awakens, but I really dug him in this movie.
Instead of nominations, I'm gonna say my 3 favorite parts. Adam Driver. That's like a nomination, dude.
No, but that's
Let the man
part
speak.
about the movie.
All right.
Let the boy speak.
Mike's mystery
Name that
nominations.
And
James
the
Thank
most
you.
epic, whatever, I'll just call it most epic standoff between Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker. That was fucking sweet. And then just the jaw-dropping moment when the starship goes through Snoke's ship.
That's one of my favorite moments in Star Wars, like, all of it.
That was cool.
'Cause
I
it
was
looked
in shock.
amazing.
It was so,
Pretty dope.
Plus the build-up to that. I
yeah.
was like, she's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. Oh shit, she did it.
I just didn't expect it to be shot and sound the way it did, which is what was so good about it. So bravo sound team, bravo
Also,
Ryan Johnson.
there were 2 stormtroopers standing behind Phasma in one scene, which I know were the 2 princes, Will and Harry.
Oh yeah.
But I also know Tom Hardy was a stormtrooper in this movie somewhere. I don't know where.
I heard the
though.
2 princes cameo got cut.
Did it? I thought it was like confirmed that they were the 2 stormtroopers standing behind Phasma.
I thought they were too, but maybe not.
In
But
the
Tom Hardy, I don't know where he was in this movie. I'll have to watch it again. So.
If-
You wouldn't be able to
Battle
understand
Crate-
him anyway.
when those guys are in the trenches and the one guy picks it up and tastes it and goes, "Oh, it's salt." The guy next to him is Gareth Edwards that directed Rogue One.
Oh,
I did know
cool.
that. Yeah. I just saw that
Nice.
today.
If anybody out there is a filmmaker and you just want to like waste your budget on like like huge actors for no reason, they don't have any like lines or anything.
Call me.
Yeah, just like put Tom Hardy or like the princes
I mean,
into
Tom
your
Hardy
movie.
loves to be behind masks and be unintelligible.
But
I will break you.
do you think they paid him anything less than like $10,000, $20,000 just to be there?
There's a minimum union rate.
Yeah. And if you're Tom Hardy, you're gonna get paid
Yeah, I
more
mean-
than the union, right?
You can't for movies of this scale. You can't make less than $50,000 if you're a principal character or a named person making a cameo. You will never make less than that.
Yeah.
You mean like for those 6-word line rules or whatever? It's like something like if you say less than 6 words, you can't get paid that much or something.
Something like that.
I think I'm butchering that.
There's so many union rules. I'm not great on all of them.
My nominations, if I were to have to. For sure, Adam Driver for actor in supporting role. What other best fight sequence with Rey and Kylo Ren. That was sweet.
That's in there.
Yeah, it is. I'm really happy it was.
Laura Dern for best hair, because that shade of purple is gorge.
It was. Good call.
She was cool.
And again, I didn't hate this movie by any means, so I would have it for
Well,
best
4.5
director.
stars is not, I hate this movie, so.
No, but because I was like talking a lot of shit-ish about it, I loved this movie. I just had a lot of questions about it, and was like, So I think that I would also give direction to Rian Johnson. Those are like my three.
Is it still High Jackman?
No, I changed it. It was High Jackman if you were voting, but it's now Hugh Jackman. He's no longer High.
Jackman?
Right, exactly.
More like Hi Jackman.
Oh, man.
I don't condone drug use.
Can you imagine if Logan came out like 2 weeks ago?
It's still my pick.
6-hour episode.
You're
Logan
picking
and Star
over
Wars.
Last Jedi?
Wow.
Yeah.
You're picking Logan over Coco?
For what?
Coco.
Logan is my number 1 movie of the year, followed by Coco, followed by Spider-Man. And Spider-Man didn't make it into the Best Picture, and I was really upset about it. But that's okay.
Yeah,
That goes to show you that it's not my picks.
Well,
Obviously.
I'm going to go Best Picture, Best Fight Scene, and Best...
Wait, best fight scene with Kylo and...
Yeah. That's badass. And Best Lead Actress, Daisy Ridley.
I voted for her too, actually, as Best Actress.
I was kind of just like whatever about Daisy Ridley, though.
Every word that you just said was wrong.
I can't wait for the gif of that to come out.
Like, even in crappy movies like Murder on the Orient Express, she's very memorable. And she's
a good actress.
She's very committed to
She can also
everything
sing her
she does.
face off.
She's good.
Please remind me to go see that movie. I gotta.
Go see that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Is that it? Is this like the end of our movie review for like...
End of Season 1.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So when's our awards show?
January 14th.
January 14th is going to be live streamed here at Mill Iron Studios. Time TBD, but somewhere between 7 and 8-ish, maybe 7:30. I don't know.
What day of the week is that again?
It's a Sunday.
Okay.
Are we doing anything in between?
TBD.
Pay attention to the social media.
yeah.
Updates on that.
I will not be. I'm going to be
Yes.
very busy in these last few weeks of the year, but I did just want to say that from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for having me as a cast member.
Yes.
Going in deep. It's been
High five.
It's been crazy and weird and
Really? I'm the only one? We were
I don't like touching people.
Oh, alright.
yeah. And of course, I will still be very much involved with the Uranus Awards, directing Cracking It with Max,
Yep.
directing other series we end up making, writing for the Probe.
Yeah.
And occasionally I might come back to going in deep. I may have one of these guys on the Grand Illusion. So yeah,
What's one next year that you're for sure going to be joining us on?
Isle of Dogs.
good. I might. I'm for sure going to be writing. Drew and I.
I know.
I'm gonna write the big review for the Probe on that. My Grand Illusion is gonna do a full Wes Anderson
Cool.
legacy episode on that. So it depends on the schedule.
You should join us for Infinity War.
I'll be there for Infinity War. I'll be there
Okay.
for Solo: A Star Wars Story, and
the big ones.
for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be there for Cool Runnings 4.
I can't believe we're ending it on Cool Runnings. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy because it's like one of my favorite movies of all time, but also like, I'm so mad.
Yeah.
Make sure you head over to our Uranus Awards website. Make sure you vote. Visit our Patreon.
Yeah.
Give
Follow us each
money.
on
Oh, yeah,
Twitter
give us-
individually.
Yeah, give us the social media spiel really quick.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at NGNZander. You can find your at Uranus Awards, which is our Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you vote before January 13th. You can do it once per device. It's going to be great. Live stream's going to be great. We're going to look super handsome, except for Mike. He's going to look super duper handsome. We might even bring Tyler onto camera to make fun of him.
We for sure will. We'll have Drew and Brett.
Brett too.
Brett surprised me with
wish-
a plane ticket.
I wish Patrick could be there too.
We'll give Patrick some shout-outs.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like Patrick would like hitchhike in a trunk or something?
He made another comment. He said Luke ends up being Batman. He said, I think Luke will come back as Batman.
Actually, Lucas Kaiser Soze.
Maybe.
And Oscar Schindler.
On that note,
And on that note,
Mike, take it away, and then I have to go run to Tyler's board again because Tyler's in LA being cool. So, Mike, send us off.
all right, bye, Max. We'll see you later.
Say, and then I'll run.
Okay.
We hope you're not on fire.
Hey, Mike, can I say it with you since it's my last time?
Do it, please.
Ready?
Should we
This
all
is-
say it though?
Actually, yeah. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
I think we
all
should
of
all
us.
Oh,
say
we're
it.
gonna
Right.
fuck this
Can we
up.
all like hold each
Ready?
other?
And on
Alright.
and the count of three.
Wait,
One.
is it 1, 2, 3?
It's 1, 2, 3.
Or is it
Or
1, 2,
on
3, go?
three.
One,
Guys, we're the only ones who are watching this.
one, 2, 3. This
has
is
been
going in deep, going dark.
And now I run. This is awkward.
He's so cute when he runs.
Oh god, oh god, oh god.